Dallas, Houston, Texas, and you're listening to 1560.
Hello, everybody. Nate Griffin of the Nate and Craig Show. Yes, we are legit. Patrick comes with the shenanigans, and of course, I bring the wisdom. Make sure you tune in to the Nate and Craig Show on SB Nation 1560, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m.
Are your kids spending too much time in front of screens, TV screens, computer screens, phone screens, Twitter, and Snap crap? Well, get them outside playing on a Hoops sporting equipment basketball goal, the best goal on the planet, period. Hoops goals have tempered glass backboards, breakaway rims. You can easily raise or lower from 5 to 10 feet. Perfect for kids of any age. Best of all, Hoops will install your goal. Check out hoopshouston.com. That's hoopshouston.com. Or call 281-351-9822. That's Hoops.
Hi, this is Harold Guy.
And this is Bill Olson, inviting you to join us Saturday mornings at 7 for Texas Outdoor News.
It's the country's #1 outdoor radio show for a lot of good reasons.
We bring you information and news you can use.
And guests you'll want to listen to from industry and the field. Now in our 24th year, as Texas' favorite outdoor radio show, Texas Outdoor News is brought to you by Ford Trucks and your best in Texas Ford dealers. Join us Saturday mornings, 7 to 8 on SB Nation 1560.
Message and data rates may apply.
When did American men get so soft? Today's average red-blooded American man has less testosterone than his father. His father has less testosterone than his father. Before we turn into a country of powder puffs, Force Factor is launching the Man Up America event. We want to send every man in America a complimentary bottle of the breakout supplement taking GNC by storm. Test X 180 Ignite, loaded with free testosterone-boosting manliness. Get your complimentary bottle by texting Factor11 to 369-369. During workouts, Test X 180 Ignite raises levels.
Yeah, I'm here, Ira.
Plus, it helps burn fat, fuel sexual desire, and improve performance. Now you can continue to feel like the real men that made this country great. Do yourself a favor. Do America a favor. Text Factor11 to 369-369 for your complimentary bottle. That's a complimentary bottle by texting Factor11 to 369-369.
This is Reggie with Blake's Barbecue. Looking for a hot and juicy made-to-order burger? How about some smoky, tender barbecue ribs that fall off the bone? And don't forget about the delicious sides and buttery desserts. Stop by Blake's Barbecue and Burgers, and food is prepared the old-fashioned way. Dine in, pick up, or deliver. Remember, you don't have to be home to get a good meal. Blake's Barbecue and Burgers, located at 2916 Janetta Street between Richmond and West Town, or online at Blake'sBBQBurgers.com.
The Dan Patrick Show.
So we had a moment yesterday. I had a hole-in-one on a golf simulator. I don't know if you guys saw it, but I have a hole-in-one. And, everybody, Paulie started with a handshake. And then McLovin a high five. Fritzy went in with the hand gobbler, where you have your
hand gobbler.
Yes, you're a hand gobbler.
I was trying to do like a kind of a side handshake thing.
I went to give you nuts because I don't like to shake hands with you.
Why?
I just don't. So I went with nuts, and then you gobbled me. You were a hand gobbler yesterday. It took away from the hole-in-one.
That's what I was concerned about.
Like I was disappointed after a hole-in-one. That's how bad
you were so excited up until that moment.
Yeah, well, you went hand gobbler, and when you went with that, and then I wanted to get it out of there. It was like Pac-Man. You were like coming.
There's always a grab at the end.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward.
The Dan Patrick Show, mornings from 8 to 10 on SB Nation 1560.
From the SB Nation 1560 Traffic Center, this report is sponsored by Home by Verizon. If you're out on I-10 westbound at Longwood, cruiser cleared that accident out of your way. But watch for a brand new problem out on I-10, the Katy Freeway,
Okay, listen to me right now.
Download the SB Nation 1560 app today. You're listening to the Sean Salisbury Show. Follow the show on Twitter at @SalisburyShow.
It's time for us to close this thing out. That ain't true.
That is true.
So you know, it's going to be on a team.
Cold Corona.
Putting a lime in there or what?
Oh, yeah.
Mix it up.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the famous mascot of the LA. Let's give it up for
Yeah. Remember, because he was like dead set. No, I'm there. I'm bed. He was 5 years old.
That worked.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm going to bed.
You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to check your eye color. Should we get them brown? Little brown? They're not green.
I don't have blue eyes.
They are blue. What color?
I do that?
Just the look. You feel like a baller.
Yes, you get 40 yards or just a little big bag and you hold it and keep moving like your food, like you're sneak attack.
Brown bag.
You take 2 40s and you tape them both hands and you got a nice tape. It's a college thing.
But it's,
Yeah, the only problem
That wild Syracuse.
you chug one and then you get real gut right. It's like, I
Then you get out of the back.
yeah, then you got to go to the bathroom. Then you chug the other one.
rips
Just do it. You chug the other one to do it. And
You guys ever funnel? I used to love funnel.
I see you doing a keg stand.
Oh,
Hey, Ira. How's the weather up there today? Okay, good. We don't want delays. Oh, are you back in Sugarland? Oh, okay, cool. Never mind then. Yeah, I can see the weather out. It looks beautiful, so we're good.
First up, we got a bevy of birthdays to celebrate. We got Kim. Kim had a big birthday.
we gotta go back. Who, you guys call it funneling in Massachusetts? Yeah, we call it beer bong.
Next up, we got a celebrating birthday and happy birthday.
You got like a long tube. A beer bong. I've never heard it called funneling before. I've never heard it called funneling.
I'd like to see you go kickstand.
They got the funnel?
Yeah.
Yo, bro, you bringing a funnel tonight? Look at him. Look at Rock Star.
Hey, you're out of your mind. I'm going to go celebrate happy
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our special guest tonight.
Tequila,
180 from the
Tequila, Corona, Papa Smoker for you. Here I come. For Robin, Brian, Segs, Kirsten, Ron, I'm Sean Salisbury. We'll be back Monday. It's the Sean Salisbury Show. Don't miss it.
Matt Pauley has your SB Nation 1560 Sports Minute now.
SB Nation 1560 reminds kids between 6 and 17 that if you're a CCA Texas member, you can fish in the 28th Annual Star Tournament with a chance to win $25,000 or $50,000 in scholarships. The Rockets and Spurs are all even at a game apiece after the first 2 games were in San Antonio. Now games 3 and 4 in Houston. Game 3 tonight at the Toyota Center. For the Rockets, they will try to get James Harden going. Seems like he hasn't been totally right in the postseason, but he was especially off in game number 2 when he shot just 3 for 17 en route to just a 13-point performance. The Spurs will be playing their first game without Tony Parker. He is out for the rest of the postseason. He suffered a ruptured left quadriceps back in game number 2. I'm Matt Pauley with this Sports Minute on SB Nation 1560.
Easy learning? This is Roger Patterson with a minute of vision for life. Proverbs 14:6 says, "A scoffer seeks wisdom in vain, but knowledge is easy for a man of understanding." You know, as I see it, there are 2 ways to learn. The first is the way of the scoffer who seeks wisdom, but it has no end or purpose for him because he lacks vision for life. The second is the one who's been seeking God.
Hey, Ira, we got about 4 minutes.
He knows that his own way is not the best, but his own reactions are often full of pride and sometimes humility. He knows that he has a Father in heaven who brings knowledge to him by his precious Holy Spirit. And he's learned that this knowledge is some of the easiest knowledge he can have. He seeks God and gets vision for life. How is your learning? Is it hard? Is it easy? I want to invite you to join us for worship at one of our 2 Interloop locations. You can find out more at visionforlife.org. It's visionforlife.org.
Hey, remember the mortgage meltdown of 2008? Have you tried to get a mortgage since then and been turned down? Or maybe you haven't even tried because your credit score is stuck at 585, or your tax returns have too many write-offs. Well, Cash Call Mortgage has great news for you. We've just introduced programs for people who've been told no. And what's doubly exciting is that we can solve your mortgage problems with no closing costs, no points, title, escrow, and no fees.
Wait, Cash Call, are you saying you now have credit and income-solving mortgages with no closing costs? Are you kidding?
You heard right. A credit or income-solving loan with no closing costs. Call 855-875-CASH, and we'll work with you to solve your mortgage issues. Make the cash call at 855-875-CASH.
First mortgages impact Mortgage Corp, DBA Cash Call Mortgage, 1 City Boulevard, Orange, California, 92868, NMLS 128231. Equal housing lender, not licensed in all states, not available in Washington State. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing, terms, and restrictions.
That's 855-875-CASH.
Today, how to incorporate your business in just 10 minutes so you won't lose everything if you get sued. Step 1, stop putting it off. If you're not incorporated and someone sues your business tomorrow, it's not just
2 minutes till the intro plays.
your home, your car, even your life savings. Step 2, call the following number for a free 10-minute incorporation guide from Incorporate.com. 1-800-915-3528. They don't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating quick and easy. So you can incorporate or form an LLC in just 10 minutes. That number again is 1-800-915-3528. Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes to incorporate your business or form an LLC, you protected your home, your car, and your life savings. And that is how you incorporate your business in just 10 minutes. But hurry while they're still giving away these 10-minute incorporation guides for free. Call 1-800-915-3528. That's 1-800-915-3528.
Let Saltgrass cook for your mom this Mother's Day. Real Ron Snolly here, and your mom deserves the best. That's why you need to head to Saltgrass Steakhouse. Come enjoy their certified Angus beef steak and other great selections like salmon Oscar, spinach and kale salad, a wide selection of sangrias, wines, and of course that homemade
1 minute till intro plays.
or cheesecake. Beaumont, Port Arthur, Kima, and all across the Houston area. Visit a location near you, saltgrass.com.
James Harden wants to play basketball with you. Attend the James Harden Basketball Pro Camp in partnership with Kroger, presented by BBVA Compass. Kids in grades 1 through 12 can join James July 22nd and 23rd at the Legend Sports Complex. For information and registration, visit jameshardencamp.com. Premier partners include Tide. James will be on site and joined by area coaches to provide small group instruction on basketball fundamentals and fun. Reserve your spot at jameshardencamp.com today.
10 seconds.
You're listening to 1560 AM.
Intro's playing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's time for Sugarland Skeeters Baseball.
Zawadzki's got it, and the Skeeters are championship of the Atlantic League here in 2016 as they mob Luke on the mound. Sugarland, it doesn't get any sweeter.
After winning the Atlantic League title last season, the Skeeters begin Season 6 as defending champs for the first time in franchise history.
The impossible has happened.
Follow the Skeeters' title defense all season as they drive to win the 2017 Atlantic League Championship.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Skeeters skipper Gary Gaetti and his boys are primed to win back-to-back Atlantic League titles this season.
Deep to left field, going back to the track, to the wall, and he got it all.
This is a live presentation of Skeeters Baseball.
Holy cow!
The title defense begins now. So let's go to the broadcast
Like that.
with the voice of the Sugarland Skeeters, Ira Liebman.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask if you would please remain standing. Gentlemen, if you would, please remove your hats as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Tonight's colors are presented by Taylor Navy Junior ROTC Color Guard under the direction of Lieutenant Commander Vince
Mics are off.
First Sergeant Louis Herrera and Senior Chief Mike
Start
Taylor.
off your work week right at Constellation Field. Join us for Monday home game with $1 hot dog and $2 margarita. Plus, every Monday is military month, where military members receive a free ticket just by showing a military ID. Monday just don't get better than this. Come see your Skeeters on Monday for $1 dog, $2 margarita, and free admission for all military members with their ID. For tickets, call 281-240-HITCH or visit sugarlandskeeters.com.
Coming up on Monday's SB Nation AM here on SB Nation Radio, along with Solly and Murray, I will still be Scott. Pleased to be joined by our friend Sean Devaney, talking NBA and the latest from the NBA playoffs. As we look ahead to the NHL, perhaps we'll talk about some matchups for the next round. Question mark? All that plus studs and duds and sounds of the weekend. We'll be back. It's SB Nation AM on SB Nation Radio.
SB Nation AM, weekday mornings from 5 to 8 on
Back in 30.
1560.
Want to watch a Skeeters game in style? We have just what you need. Our game day suites are ideal for entertaining clients, rewarding employees,
Back in 20.
and personal milestones. Let us make it easy for you. Suite rentals come with food and soft drinks, parking privileges, and even access to our Insperity Club.
Back in 10.
To plan your event, call us at 281-240.
Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. All righty, down on the field, we've got a couple of excited young Skeeter fans to be helping us get this game started. Please welcome my good friends Ethan and Chloe. They're going to give us the two words every baseball fan wants to hear. Ethan and Chloe, take it away. Very well done.
Actually managed New Britain back in the day when they were an affiliated team, so kind of a coming home of sorts for him. Swanee is poked out to left field. Benson cuts it over in left center, and he'll flag it for out number 3. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. New Britain does not score here in the top of the first. Skeeters coming to bat for the first time when we return.
Mics are off.
Every Tuesday home game at Constellation Field is 2 for Tuesday. If you buy 1 field box or grassland ticket, you get another one free. Plus, any group of 20 or more can get in for half price. It's the biggest steal of the season. Join your Skeeters for every Tuesday home game for 2 for Tuesdays at Constellation Field. To get your tickets, call 281-240-HITS. That's 281-240-4487 or visit sugarlandskeeters.com.
So there I was, just minding my own business when a hit and run. This guy came out from nowhere. Bam! He just kept going. Thankfully, Texas phone short insurance was there. With the light pack, which for one day and a half. So I was on my way to Midtown to witness the hit and run happening.
So forward 77 Farm Buick. Save up to 40% on your
Back in 30.
Trying to plan a fun poker or family event? Let us help. Your package is Sierra Constellation. Everything you need. Fun, friendly, family.
Back in 20.
No matter what size the group, we have options. Picnic plaza with a in-ground pool. Even a 2-hour
Mics are back in 10.
all your needs. To plan your event, call us here at 2.
Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Leading off for your Sugarland Skeeters. George on number 7. John Prince.
Mics are off.
Season ticket holder and enjoy all the perks that come with it. Or choose our 8-game mini plans and find the days that work best for everyone. We even have flex books for those spontaneous days out. Each book comes with 10 vouchers that you can redeem for any game. Multiple plans for your affordable family fun this season.
By creating opportunity, Floor builds communities. In 1952, the Floor Foundation established its legacy of providing help to those in need. Upon that foundation, we invest and build in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math education. How do you build tomorrow? At Floor, it happens every day.
Mics are back in 30.
Sugarland Skeeters are all about fun, family-friendly, affordable entertainment. That's why every Wednesday home game is free to all kids 12 and under.
Back in 20.
Kids can have fun all game long with our outfield playground and splash zone while taking in a Skeeters game, and it's all free.
Back in 10. Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We move to the top of the second inning. Skeeters have a lead for Kyle Drabeck now. They're up 1-0. Drabeck will face 5, 6, and 7 in the Bees order. John Griffin, Connor Bierfeld, and Jamar Walton. Griffin spent his first season last year with the New Britain Bees team. He was with the Ducks before that. Griffin is no small fry, to say the least, out there. He is 6'6", 230. He's actually an inch taller than Jeremy Barfield. First pitch a strike, 0-1 here to Griffin. It comes in 261, no home runs and 3 RBIs. And man, did he kill the Skeeters in that first road trip to New Britain last year. This one swung and missed, and quickly 0-2 the count. Drabeck working quickly here, just waiting for Griffin to get set. The 0-2 in the dirt. Count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
That one bit Ortiz. Drabeck has spiked a couple, but that either came up and hit him beyond the shin guard or got him in a spot that I'll neglect to mention. But Ortiz really taking some deep breaths before he's ready to get back in.
Some Astros connection to the Bees. First of all, Casey Coleman was just recently signed by the Astros from the New Britain roster, and they sent him to AAA Fresno, so we may see him here in the Houston area before this season is over. This one misses low and away, 2-2. Also, George Springer, that one strike 3 on the outside corner. Another late call there by Joe Harris. Second K of the day, and there's one away. George Springer is from New Britain. And of course, Jeff Bagwell, who played at New Britain, and it was his very last stop before being called up to the Astros, and now a Hall of Famer. He'll be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame this summer. And that last season, New Britain in 1990, he hit .333, 4 home runs, 61 RBIs, and would have known that those 4 home runs would lead to a pretty productive home run hitter throughout his career. Although he did hit 14 in Hartford his first season in pro ball.
And traded for Larry Anderson, still a broadcaster with the Philadelphia Phillies.
Well, if I remember right, Anderson played on the Twins with Gary Gaetti. I believe he was Jeff Reardon's setup man. The 0-1. This one is back over our heads. No balls and 2 strikes. And Drabeck looking like another pitcher here today. He only got through 3 innings in his last outing. Now everybody in this shade, both on the infield and outfield, the sun only on the outfield walls. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and a ball low and away. Third K of the day, 2 away, second in a row here for Drabeck, and that'll bring in Jamar Walton. So in steps Walton, comes in at 250, 4 home runs and 7 RBIs. Walton, the left-handed hitting left-hand hitting right fielder comes in, and he takes the first pitch for a strike. And Joe Harris's calls are so late. And he punches, too, straight ahead.
He must be verbalizing because the hitters haven't argued. He must be barking before we see the sign.
This one down low, 1-1.
Does us a little good, however.
Walton off to a little bit of a slow start. 172, no home runs and no RBIs. This one scooped out of the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Drabek trying for a 1-2-3 inning here. One swung and rope foul off of first. Foul, however. Walton, a former 4th-round pick of the Marlins back in 2004. Spent the last 2 seasons, actually the last 3 seasons with Southern Maryland, with a brief stop in 2014 with the Barnstormers. Last year with Southern Maryland, 284, 13 home runs, 49 RBIs. Swung on a missed strike 3 as Drabek strikes out the side in order. 4th K of the day, and there is 3 away. Middle of the second, Skeeters lead 1-0. They'll try to add to that lead when we get back here in a moment.
Mics are off.
Here.
What? Yeah, that's George's.
Is it really?
Yeah. I see his.
Mike's back in 30. Mike's are back in 20. Mike's are back in 10. And Mike's are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We move to the bottom of the second inning. Skeeters leading 1-0. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 for the Skeeters. Chris Nelson, Anthony Jansanti, and Derek Miller. First pitch here by the southpaw Marzi. He is a bit inside to the right-handed hitting first baseman Chris Nelson. 1 ball and no strikes to count. Skeeters 1 run on 2 hits. The Bees no runs on 1 in the Battle of the Buzz. This one is high, 2 balls and no strikes to count.
Be a good little slogan.
Yep. I copyrighted it. This
Okay.
one is high 2-0. Marzi will kick and fire the 2-0. This one is a little bit high. Oh, called a strike. I got to wait on Joe
Yes, you
Harris.
do.
Man, 2 balls and 1 strike. The 3-1. This one served into center. A base hit for Nelson, who continues his hot hitting. And the Skeeters, for the second inning in a row, had the leadoff man on. 1 on, none out for Anthony Jansanti.
A couple of good swings so far against Marzi. Mentioned Marzi, a UConn product. He is 3 years younger than George Springer, so it would have been 2 ships passing in the night there at UConn. But boy, the Skeeters have had a couple of good swings against him.
And George's sister works in the Bees front office, actually.
George, I think, is a Sugar Land resident, so he's made this community home, even though he has other obligations at this time of the year.
A pretty good connection for him. From New Britain, now home is Sugar Land as these 2 teams take on each other. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, the Bees used to play at Beehive Field. 1 ball and no strikes, so it is very well known in that area, and hence they brought the old Bees name back. This one is high. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Jansanti hitting very well for the Skeeters right now. Hitting .330 over his last 5 games. The 2-0. This one is low and away. Throw it down to first. Nelson gets back. Jansanti has played third, second, center. He's been really versatile. Up here 3-0. And this one a strike on the outside corner. I think I got his rhythm down now, Brett. 3-1.
Takes a while.
Jansanti, a long look down at Garrigetti at third. I don't think he would try a hit and run here, although Nelson stole a base last night. Does not go. This one high and outside, ball 4. First free pass of the night issued by Marzi. Skeeters in business here with runners on first and second, and nobody out here, leading 1-0 as Derek Miller steps to the plate. It has been Miller time for Derek. He has hit in 6 of his last 7 now, going 7 for 24 over that span, a .292 average. Broke his 6-game hitting streak last night. See if he can start a new one here. Miller, very straight up stance from the right side, almost no bend in the knees. I kind of like those stances. They're very simple. The less moving parts you can have, the better. This one swung a slow roll to third. Rosa goes to second for 1. The relay to first in time. Nicely turned by the Bees to get the speedy Miller. The double play will go down 5-4-3.
Griffin's throw to McGuigan was a little bit high, and he gave the Skeeters a shot. Miller beating it out, but Bees able to go around the horn for the twin killing.
Well, Nelson goes to third with 2 down, and Jose Ortiz will step in. The Skeeters backs up 222. No home runs and no RBIs. And speaking of backstop, Albert Cordero joined the Skeeters today. I saw him down in the cages. And a little update for you. Zach Zenicola, who left the game after just 1+ batter, because he actually left in the middle of the second at bat of the game, will be out for a few weeks with a hamstring. So too bad for Zach. He had really just converted this year to being a starter. The 1-0. This one is low and in near the feet of Ortiz. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Ortiz played in Game 3 of the Southern Maryland series. Went 2 for 5 with 2 singles and a run score. The 2-0. This one is just off the outside corner. I'll run the count to 3-0. Good eye here by Ortiz. Ortiz last 5 games, 3 for 8. This one is a strike. 3 balls and 1 strike to count. Jose open stance from the right side of the box. The lefty Marzi ready to deal the 3-1. Good hitters count here. And this one swung on and skied into right field. Jamal Walton will squeeze it for the final out. Skeeters get started on the right foot. First and second, nobody out, but the double play and the flyout ends it. Through 2, and it's still the Skeeters in front. 1-0 over New Britain.
Mics are off.
Trying to plan a fun corporate or family event? Let us help with our group packages here at Constellation. Everything you need: fun, friendly, family, affordable entertainment. No matter what size the group, we have options for you, like our picnic plaza with an in-ground pool and even a 2-hour food buffet. The Skeeters can customize the item to fit all your needs. To plan your event, call us here at 240 hits. Or log on to sugarlandskeeters.com.
Actually, back on 30.
Hi, this is former Skeeters and Major League pitcher Robbie Weinberg. If you're a young ball player looking to improve your game, sign up for the Skeeters baseball camp, June 26th through the 30th. Constellation Cricket. Members ages 8 to 13 will get a chance to learn baseball. Former big league players will also enjoy exposure.
Mics are back in 10.
Join us for the Skeeters baseball camp.
Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Needs some on the launch ball table. $1 gets you a launch ball. Right after your game, you get a chance to launch those balls on the field.
Top of the third inning. Skeeters leading 1-0. The Bees will bat for the third time against Kyle Drabeck, who really was unbelievable last inning against the Bees. He struck out the side in order. He has 4 strikeouts in the game. He will face 8-9-1 here. Jake McGuigan, Ivan Villascusa, and then back to the top of the order with Steve Carrillo.
Gesundheit.
Yeah. McGuigan, 172, no home runs and 1 RBI. The number 7 and 8 hitters, Walton, who struck out last inning, and McGuigan batting just 172. This bottom of the order is not a lot of production. 172, 172, and Villascusa 0 for 6. Give him some slack. The 1-0. This one is a strike on the outside corner. 1-1 the count. Drabeck fires at home, and this one is hit high and deep in the air to left field. Going back is Benson looking up, and this one's gone. So McGuigan, who is batting just 172, gets his first home run of the year, and it's a 1-1 game here in the top half of the third.
McGuigan says, take that, Ira, for your bottom of the lineup lack of production conversation. He hit that one into the pool area.
Yes, he did. I have nothing bad to say about Ivan Villascusa, who's coming to the plate now. He was undrafted from San Luis Rio, Colorado. Signed by the Angels. Been as high as the Cal League in Advanced Day in 2008. This one fouled off to the right side to the left-hand hitting catcher. This one hit to the left side. Prince has it at short. He'll fire it to first, and there's one down. Back to the top of the order with Steve Carrillo. Carrillo flew it to left his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Carrillo 0 for his last 8. Made his pro debut in 2010 with Grand Prairie in the American Association. Last year split time between Mexico and the Bees. With the Bees, he had 246 with 3 home runs and 25 RBIs in 79 games. 15 games in the Mexican League, just 194, no home runs and 1 RBI. 1 in here, 1 out, none on. Tied at 1 between the Bees and the Skeeters. A lot of stinging and biting. Could get ugly. On low and away, 1-0.
Now, what sting hurts the worst, by a bee or a mosquito?
Oh,
bee?
The bee, it stings, it hurts. The mosquitoes you just itch.
Yeah,
You've had mosquito bites.
The itch continues for like hours. The sting is bad, but then you get over it in a few minutes.
That itch is like having used a broadcast partner for 3 hours.
Well,
I know the feeling. 3 balls and no strikes to count here to Carrillo. This one is a strike on the outside corner, 3-1 the count. You've never been stung by a bee, really?
No, I have, but I'm just, we live in this climate where mosquitoes are so prevalent that, it's not a lot of fun.
This one is low and away, ball 4. First free pass issued by Drabeck tonight.
But I'll say fire ants trump them all. They trump the bees and the mosquitoes.
They can carry you off, can't they?
They might just consume you.
Michael Krause will step in, one of the 4 strikeout victims by Drabeck. He was the first. 0 for 1 tonight. 222, 2 home runs, and 3 RBIs coming in. Thinking there's a big fire ant problem at the Dolan house?
Well, there is. Yeah.
This one is down low. 1 ball and no strikes to count to Krause. 1 run on 3 hits for the Skeeters, 1 run on 2 for the Bees. The Bees have not got off to a good start this season. Bees, with their worst record in the Atlantic League at 4-9. They are 5.5 games back already of the front-running Somerset Patriots in the Liberty Division. This one is chopped to third. Nice play by Zawadzki. It was the second for one. The relay to first, not in time. Heck of a play by Zawadzki at third. He was pretty much in foul territory by the time his momentum carried him there.
You're worried that maybe his throw to second base wouldn't be an accurate one, but he had enough on the throw to zip it to Jan Santi, at least give the Skitters a chance for a double play, but more importantly, make sure they get that lead runner.
In steps Javon Rosa. Rosa doubled his first time up, but was stranded. Skitters come into tonight's action 7-7, tied for first with the Lancaster Barnstormers. We'll see the Barnstormers in the second leg of this homestand with the Bees for 6, and then the Barnstormers for 4.
Yeah, definitely good fortune, at least early, not being in the same division as Somerset. Otherwise, you go from being in a first-place tie to 3 games back if you were in the same division as Somerset.
And a throw to first gets him as Drebeck picks off Kraus, and that will do it. A 1-3 on the pickoff, but the leadoff home run by Jake McGuigan gives the New Britain their first run of the game and ties this one at 1-1.
Mics are off.
Join us for Monday home game, $1 hot dog and $2 margarita. Plus, every Monday, military members receive a free ticket just by showing a military ID. Monday just don't get better than this. Come, see your team.
Hey, Ira, that guy with the home run, his name was McGuigan? Okay, all right, got it.
With their ID. For tickets, call 281-240-PITCH or visit sugarlandskeeters.com.
SB Nation AM with Lynn, Solly, and Murray.
Why don't we get a cake for the 30th anniversary of The Simpsons?
No, it was the anniversary of its first appearance on the Tracy Ullman Show.
That's when I watched The Simpsons most regularly because I watched the Tracy Ullman Show on HBO at the time. It was on HBO. And I remember saying to myself,
Wasn't alive, Scott.
so sorry.
Weekday mornings from 5 to 8 on SB Nation 1560.
Mics are back in 30.
Better way to spend your Saturday than with Sugarland Skeeters. Take advantage of our great Saturday offers like our team jersey giveaway, Frank Mugio Hall of Fame bobblehead night,
Mics are back in 20.
concerts including the Molly Ringwalds, Jimmy Buffett night, and other post-game entertainment. Whichever Saturday you choose, there's always
Mics are back in 10. Mics are back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We move to the bottom of the third. It'll be the top of the order for the Skeeters, 1, 2, and 3. Josh Prince, Lance Zawadzki, and Jeremy Barfield. Prince doubled and scored to lead off the game for the Skeeters. We're tied at 1-1 here in the bottom of the third. Last inning, Jake McGuigan for the Bees homer. Prince came in 241, 1 home run and 5 RBIs. First pitch is chop foul off of third. Gary tries for the kick save down there. Not close.
That's a middle-aged man should be doing that. Might hurt something.
So no balls and 1 strike the count here to Prince. The lefty Marzi winds and deals, and this one is low and in. 1 ball and 1 strike to count.
Gary might be at that age where if you throw your foot out and it hits it and you kick it, it's better than the run down the left field line to go get it.
Of course. I think that's any age. This one is swung and grounded towards short as Prince hits it to his counterpart. Carrillo drops it. The throw to first just gets him. Good recovery by Carrillo. There's 1 down.
Boy, Carrillo just let that ball eat him up. If you were teaching a youth team, you'd point out how he just sat there and just waited on the ball to come to him without charging it. And when you do that, normally you're susceptible to a bad hop, the ball popping out of your glove. He had just enough, though, to rebound and throw out Prince.
So 1 out and none out for Lance Zawadzki, who drove in the lone run of the game for the Skeeters. We're tied at 1-1 here in the third. Talking about Gary Gaetti trying to kick it instead of run after it. But even when you're young, remember you're playing in Little League or you're playing a field, you're playing practice, the ball gets past you in the outfield. What'd you do? You threw your mitt up in the air to try to knock it down. Nobody ever wants to run after a ball.
No, that's true. But if I hit my glove in the ball, I get bonus points. If it hits my foot, it hurts.
Lefty-lefty matchup here. The 1-0 is high. 2 balls and no strikes. Sawatsky 216. 2 home runs, 3 RBIs coming in. Marzi kicks and deals the 2-0. Swung on, popped up. Left side is Carrillo. The shortstop on the outfield grass. A few steps, reaches back, and that one almost took him by surprise. It's been tough going there at short this inning for him.
Did he just misjudge that, or did the wind push the ball at the last second?
Oh, the wind is not blowing as heavily as it normally is. It's kind of blowing right now just lightly out towards right center.
I mean, we started the game with 14-mile-an-hour winds, which isn't great. And that ball was hit very high, so it probably got far above the roof. But he almost saw that ball land behind him.
That'll bring in Jeremy Barfield with 2 outs, none on, and the score tied at 1-1 between the Skeeters and the Bees. They set it inside, a bullet into left field. That's going to be a base hit. Bierfeld will get to it quickly before he gets to the wall and hold Barfield to a long single.
That's just a professional job of hitting. That ball was in and up. Wasn't out over the plate, but he pulled his hands in a bit, still able to get barrel on the ball and make Marzi pay for a pitch that was elevated.
Barfield has now hit a 9 of his last 11. I'll bring in Joe Benson. The Skeeters right-hand hitting left fielder. Grounded out to third his first time up. He is 0 for 1. Marzi gets this signed from Villascusa, and that one a little bit high. 1 ball and no strikes to count. One run on 4 hits for the Skeeters, 1 run on 2 for the Bees. They set up way inside here, and this one is low and in. 2 balls and no strikes to count. Thank you very much for joining us here tonight on 1560 AM, whether you're listening on the radio, the internet, YouTube. Glad to have all the friends, fans, and family of the Skeeters. Well, swung and a hit to the left side. Griffin, the third baseman, will go the short route to second. Well, that'll do it. Fielder's choice goes down 5-4. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 1 man left on base. A third of the way through. We're tied at 1.
Mics are off.
So there I was, just minding my own business when a hit and run. This guy came out of nowhere. He just kept going. Thankfully, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance was there. He put right on to pay for $1 million. So I was on my way to Utah to witness the hit and run that really mattered.
A moment with Kevin. So call 877 Farm Bureau. Save up to 40% on your auto
Skeeters fans, and you're
Back in 30.
Consolation Field Sunday Funday. We have something for everyone. Play catch in the outfield, and your favorite Skeeters players will be signing autographs before the game.
Back in 20.
And all kids will be able to run the bases. Consolation Field has everything you need for a fun, family-friendly.
Back in 10.
For more information, contact us.
Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
More details.
Well, we move to the top of the 4th inning, tied at 1, and to keep this one rolling, my broadcast partner, Brett Dolan.
Jovan Rosa will lead off. He doubled back in the first inning against Kyle Drabeck. Leads off this 4th. And the pitch on the way. It's over, but a little bit low. Rosa last year played in every single game, 140 in the Atlantic League, joining a very small list of players before him that have done that. And he's going to take another one that's down and out of the zone. Guys like Lou Ford and Phelan Lantini of Long Island had previously done that, but you think about this league, whether It's some guys that are up there in age, or maybe just the travel, the demands on some days. You take a blow here and there when you can, but he was in there for every single game last season.
I think it's harder to do every game in the majors or the minors, because the minors you have, bus trips and.
Oh, I definitely think the minors. It's tough. At least through that first 5 months when they're on equal footing. There's a pitch downstairs, so Drebeck wasn't close on a few of those, and Rosa walks leading off the 4th inning. Anymore in the big leagues, it's gotten almost ridiculous with the people that they travel with nutritionists and multiple strength and conditioning coaches. I mean, anything you need. Masseuses.
Is that what you do it on in the big leagues there?
No.
You getting custom meals with all those carbs you eat?
I don't, no.
Get massages and.
They do. The important people do. Greg Maddox in. He lined to left his only time in. Gets an elevated pitch and ropes one to right center for a base hit. Rosa will go to second. He will not challenge Barfield, who fires it back into Prince. Going station to station on a single from Maddox. Couple of guys on, nobody out for the Bees here in their 4th inning. But I'm guessing in the Atlantic League you don't travel with multiple strength and conditioning coaches, a nutritionist. And
if I did, I'd be in better shape.
Here's John Griffin. Went down on strikes looking in the 2nd inning. It was part of a frame where Drebeck struck out the side and they passed the boot. And I looked down there and they were passing the boot around, and I thought, wait a minute, nobody's homered yet. But they also do that when pitchers strike out the side. There's a soft little flare headed to right center field. That's a base hit. So Griffin has the single. Rosa around third. Here's Barfield's throw. It's in the air, but it's a little bit late as Rosa scores standing. Barfield angry with himself that he got the ball there on the fly, but not enough steam behind it to get Rosa, and the Bees have taken a 2-1 lead.
That was a heck of a throw by Barfield. I didn't really think he's going to have a chance at the plate, but he's got a terrific arm. But now with the throw home, there's runners on 2nd and 3rd instead of 1st and 2nd.
Yep, changes the complexion a bit of the inning because no longer a double play concern. In fact, the Skeeters may have to bring the infield about halfway for Connor Bierfeld. So a walk, a single, and the Bees have taken their first lead of the game. It's now 2-1, and the right side of the infield is in. And as Prince, the shortstop, starts drifting in, they're all in. Drebeck from the stretch. Here's his pitch. Wave and a miss. Maybe the changeup there as Bierfeld was out in front.
They're almost halfway, except for second baseman Jan Santi. And do I tempt fate again and say walk Bierfeld, load the bases for a 172 hitter on deck?
No, I think you go after him, but you'd like a little good fortune like that, a pop-up. Although it's carrying out there to right center field. We'll see if it's deep enough to score Maddox. It may be because Miller underneath will make the catch. He's going to throw to third, and the throw bounces a little bit late to get Griffin. So a sac fly plating Maddox puts the Bees up 3-1 and also advances Griffin at third base. I thought that ball was more into shallow center than it was regular depth. It just kept carrying a bit on Miller. So a couple of runs in the bank for the Bees here in the 4th inning. Just one out. Here's Jamar Walton. Walton also a strikeout victim back in that 2nd inning.
Now the infield all the way in here for the Skeeters.
And you have to here. Walton just won for his last 17. You're going to take a crack that he's going to get soft contact and maybe not sneak one through where you can cut down what would be the potential 4th run of the game for the Bees. Next pitch on the way. Little tapper back towards Drebeck. He's going to look the runner back and flip to first, retire Walton, and freeze Griffin at third base. So there was the soft contact. And Walton now just won for his last 18.
That's a huge out, so maybe the Skeeters getting out of this just the pair in, already trailing by 2.
Although Jake McQuiggan, the second baseman, bats, he had a towering home run over the manual scoreboard into the pool area, leading off the 3rd inning, his first of the year, and the 11th for New Britain. Pitches a well-placed fastball for a strike on that outside corner. McQuiggan came out of Harvard, went undrafted, and boy, it's not easy to get drafted out of the Ivy League as Drabeck misses. There are a few, and Princeton's had its fair share over the last, say, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Ball and a strike to McGuigan. Drabeck from the stretch, set at the belt. The pitch is swung on, lifted foul, first base side. Nelson chasing. He's to the railing, and it's about 8 rows deep.
You know, New Britain, they've had some great starting pitching. For year one of their franchise last year, they got 6 pitchers signed in Eric Fortuno, Nick Greenwood, Sean Havlin, Cole Johnson, Josh Outman, and Josh Zide we talked about earlier. That's what kept them in it all year.
That's the amazing part, right? To lose that many and still be not only relevant, but in it to the final game of the year as Drabeck bounces a pitch in the dirt, and it was knocked down by Ortiz to keep Griffin from scoring.
The Bees made a huge push. They won 13 out of the last 14 games going into that last game of the season. Just needed one more victory and fell short. They would have actually knocked Somerset out. Wound up having a 2-0 lead against the Ducks before the Ducks came back and won that series, and the Skeeters beat Long Island for the championship. You just wonder how that would have kind of came about had that happened.
Pitch to McGuigan is served back and out of play. Yeah, certainly I don't think anybody wants to face a team winners of 14 of 15 had they won that last game to go into the postseason.
When the Rockies won 21-22 to go
right.
into the World Series against the Red Sox in 2007. That was the worst thing that happened to the Rockies. Those 6 days off waiting to get into the World Series.
Too much. 2-2 pitch. Another high foul ball down the right field side, bending into the seats. It'll land on that concourse area and take a bounce towards, appropriately enough, the bounce house. Lengthy inning for Drabeck, both in time and pitches thrown. He's given up a couple of runs and trying to strand John Griffin at third base. Long at bat here with McGuigan. The count remains 2-2. And another pitch from the right-hander. Another foul ball to the right out of play. He's spoiling pitch after pitch to that right side of Constellation Field. Skeeters got a run in the first, but since then 3 straight for the Bees, including 2 this inning. We're in the top of the 4th. McGuigan waiting on a 2-2 pitch. Another foul ball back. This one over our heads to the right, maybe up there near the sweet level. New Britain in their traveling gray unis with green and black numbers. Skeeters in their home whites tonight, blue caps. Another 2-2 pitch. This one's chopped foul, but a new wrinkle. It's a chopper to the third base side.
Yikes, this is some at bat.
Joe Harris, our plate umpire, is out of baseball. Wind is drifting out towards right center. The 3 flags blowing out towards and past that berm area. Next pitch, hit well to left center field. McGuigan homered earlier in the game, and he is just homered here to the plate land in left center. He won the lengthy battle. Hits a 2-run bomb, and he makes it 5-1 Bees.
Well, they always talk about the more pitches a hitter can see, the bigger advantage he has. And McGuigan, 10-pitch at bat, finally gets the best of Drabeck as he homers. Came in with no home runs over the first 14 games, 2 here tonight.
And just 5 hits all year. And he's hit a couple of home runs. And that's a big one, Ira, because you mentioned it. If he was able to strand Griffin at third base and only give up the 2, Skeeter's still very much right in this one. There's a chopper to the right side, fielded nicely by Jansanti to retire Villascusas, and the 2 tough pronunciations take care of each other, and the inning ends. But 4-run score. We head to the bottom of the 4th. Skeeters has some catching up to do, now trailing New Britain 5-1.
Mics are off. Hey, quick question. So that first single, was that Griffin that hit that in? And then who had the sac fly? Beerfield. Okay. Thank you.
Join us at Constellation Field, where we will do all the work so you can enjoy the game.
Every Tuesday home game at Constellation Field is 2 for Tuesday. If you buy one field box or grassland ticket, you get another one free. Plus, any group of 20 or more can get in for half the price. It's the biggest steal of the season. Join your Skeeters for every Tuesday home game for 2 for Tuesdays at Constellation Field. To get your tickets, call 281-240-HITS. That's 281-240-4487. Or visit SugarlandSkeeters.com.
We're back in 30. And hey, when we come back, who's ever announcing, can you just say can we pause 10 seconds for a station ID? Appreciate it. We're back in 10. Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Skeeters trailing 5-1 before they bat in the bottom of the 4th inning. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. Brett and I are at the old ballpark on a Friday night. Actually, it feels a little bit cool for May here in Sugarland, doesn't it?
Very cool.
Started at 80 degrees, a little bit cooler than that. It's the Bees bats, though, that have heated up. 5 straight runs to lead 5-1.
I told you it's going to get down to 56 degrees in May here in Sugarland. You'd be surprised.
I would. Wilkins swings at the first one, skies it in the air, deep right center field, back near the Bud Light Ice House, and that one's gone. Few players homered to that area of the ballpark, but a light breeze blowing out tonight. Wilkins spanked one, hit it well, and sent one near the splash pad for a home run, his first of the season.
Maybe that just get the Skeeters back into this ball game, just allowing 4 runs in the top of this inning on a big home run by the Bees. Jake McGuigan second, and now it's Wilkins. Maybe gets them back into this ball game quickly.
Impressive left on left, and Wilkins hit one well over 400 feet for the homer. Here's Chris Nelson. He singled in the second inning. He's up there hacking at the first pitch and got a piece to foul it off the catcher, Viascusa.
We've seen the wind blow the ball out towards right center of the last year and change here, more than the previous 4 seasons here, and you wonder, would this park be considered a pitcher's park if the wind always blew out towards right center here?
It would change it, that's for sure. What was unusual about that one is Nelson skies one to right, but not deep enough as Walton is back, and now will come in a couple of steps to make the catch. I mean, when you hit a ball out to right center field or to the right of the batter's side, you really have to tattoo it, and that one was up there very high, and the center fielder Krause kept pursuing. We've seen center fielders just race after the ball, and eventually it hits the fence, so they get back there and make the catch. He just kept running and running, and that ball was carrying beyond his reach and over the fence. Here's Anthony Jansanti walked in the second. He's up there hacking at the first pitch and waves over the top of it for strike 1. Anthony Marzi remains in contact with the rubber. He's ready to go, and Jansanti climbs back in. Here's an 0-1 pitch, a little flare, hit out there into shallow left. The shortstop pursuing Carrillo with a nice running backhand catch in fair territory. Otherwise, that ball was going to barely reach that outfield grass and possibly be a base hit unless he could make the catch, because Griffin playing in at third had no chance.
And Griffin slipped as he went back to try to get that ball. So if Carrillo doesn't get over there, there's no play at all.
There's Derek Miller, the center fielder. Finally got me a monitor in the booth today, which is appreciated as Miller takes a strike. And when I caught a glimpse of Miller when he was looking away from the batter's box, all I could think of was Beamer Weems.
Oh, yeah, it does look a little like Beamer.
You know, the picture on the scoreboard doesn't look that way, but at least when we saw him up on our monitor, he had a little Beamer in him as the pitch is high.
Beamer a lot shorter. That is a pretty good likeness, I suppose.
Here's an 0-1 pitch off the hands, fouled back to the netting by Miller.
It was right by your side. I guess he doesn't like being compared to Beamer Williams.
Well, that net will protect us more often than not. Breaking ball carries outside and misses. Home run, a fly out, and a soft pop-up here in the Skeeters' 4th inning. It's a 5-2 New Britain advantage. Marzy's a quick worker. Spins up a curve, and he left it up in the zone, but it's rolled towards Carrillo. He'll scoop and throw to first, and it's in time to get Miller, who is racing up the line, but he's out to end the inning. So leadoff home run from Wilkins, and then the Skeeters go 3 and done. We head to the 5th inning. It's a 5-2 New Britain lead.
Mics are off.
Sugarland Skeeters are all about fun, family-friendly, affordable entertainment. That's why every Wednesday home game is free to all kids 12 and under at Constellation Field. Kids can have fun all game long with our outdoor playground and splash zone while taking in a Skeeters game. And it's all free. Wednesdays are all about the kids at Constellation Field. For information, tickets are on 281-240-HITS. Or visit SugarlandSkeeters.com.
Hey, Skeeters fans, if you're a senior, 55 or over, we have a great deal for you. Join our Silver Skeeters Club presented by Advanced Hearing Center. For just $25, Silver Skeeters Club members receive admissions to Skeeters home games, free drink coupons on game days, exclusive VIP events, and much more. If you're a Skeeters fan, age 55 or over, don't miss out on this great opportunity.
Back in 30.
For more information, go online to SugarlandSkeeters.com.
Back in 20. Back in 10. Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We head to the top of the 5th. New Britain leads the Skeeters 5-2. Kyle Drabek back to the mound. He will face the top of the lineup in Carrillo, Kraus, and Rosa. Drabek, again, no stranger. Many people familiar with him. Of course, a first-round pick out of the Woodlands High School. Outstanding pitcher and shortstop in high school. And big league time, 43 games with the Blue Jays, White Sox, and Diamondbacks. You have to go back to 2006 when the Highlanders won the Texas State Championship. It is tonight that high school baseball playoffs begin around the state, around the region, as Carrillo chops one foul wide at third base. But certainly Drabek has some big league experience. And Ira, you're a guy who enjoys, I think, the history of the game and maybe some of the unusual oddities that occur.
I do.
And I've got a couple for you.
All right.
Speaking of the big leagues, as Carrillo lifts one in the air to right center field. Barfield and Miller over into the alley. Who wants it? Barfield there for the call and the catch, and there's one out. The player's name escapes me for the time being, but this week we had a gentleman who got called up to the big leagues for the first time, and he made his debut, but he did nothing in the game. He was on deck. He was going to pinch hit for his major league debut. They announced him. As the pitching change took place, they pinch hit for him before he got to bat, so that's officially a game in the big leagues, but he did nothing in it for his major league debut.
Well, that's terrible if he doesn't ever get a major league at bat. He can say, hey, I was in a major league game, but I never actually played.
I'm listed as a pinch hitter. I didn't bat.
Didn't play the field. So you were in the game, but you didn't do anything.
I mean, a little Moonlight Graham going on as Mike Krause steps in. But I was driving over today and listening to the Braves and their broadcast, and they were in a rain delay. Now, last night they were in a game with the Mets. They played for about 4 innings, and the game got rained out as Krause takes one down. They'll make that game up, but the stats just get wiped off the book. So Jay Bruce had a homer, a couple of RBIs. Never happened officially, never took place. But it brought up, I guess, something maybe almost 30 years ago. Here's the pitch to Krause, and it's in there for a strike. There was a game between the Pirates and the Braves many a moon ago that they played however many innings, and they suspended it, and they resumed it about a month later. As Krause tried to check, and he offered it a strike.
Sounds much like a pine tar game.
It does sound a little bit like a pine tar game, but it has a different twist to it. But one I think that when you stop and think about it, doesn't make any sense, and yet there's really no other way around it. And the pitch to Krause is waved on and missed. He chased a breaking ball down and out of the zone, and there's 2 outs. So to pick up the pace on this, Barry Bonds ended up playing in the resumption of the game about a month later. But the stats are credited towards the day that the game started. So Bonds wasn't in the big leagues at the time. 3-4 weeks later, he's in the big leagues. He plays in this game. So he actually made his debut
a month earlier.
And he actually did. As Rosa will swing, and you're like, wait a minute. How could you make your major league debut in May, say, when it's June and you didn't come up until June?
Well, it was 1987. Back to the Future was in full swing.
People say, when was your debut? I got called up in June. Well, you played in a game in May. Well, that's because the game was suspended. He rejoined it at a later date. But those stats were officially credited to the original date. So I don't know which one's stranger, to make your major league debut a month before you actually got to the major leagues, or to make your major league debut and do nothing in the sequence.
That's pretty funny.
Drabek looking for a perfect 5th inning. Nothing into the count to Rosa. The pitch is buried in the dirt. You know, sometimes bench coaches will take the lineup card and they'll give it to a guy who has a big night or makes his debut. I'm not sure if that's the case. You take it and you put it in the man cave, or you say, why don't you wait until I actually get in the game? That pitch was left up, but Rosa fouled it back over our heads.
I got an interesting one for you. They always talk about, first major league at bat or hit or whatever. I mean, when you had your first major league broadcast, did you take anything or any significance? Do you remember when it was?
I think I kept the game notes, and okay. I kept the game notes the night Matt Cain threw a perfect game as well. But there's a ground ball rolled into the hole. Backhanded by the shortstop Prince. His throw to first is in time to end the inning. It was a Montreal game at Coors Field. Vlad Guerrero dropped a fly ball, threw out a runner from the warning track, and hit a home run. So it was a Vladdy type game.
So you don't really remember it then?
Other than that, no. We're halfway done tonight. New Britain leads the Skeeters 5-2.
Mics are off.
Creating opportunity, Ford builds communities. Ford Cares is at the heart of our employee volunteerism, where we live and work. We are proud of our commitment. We are proud of our employees. We are dedicated to building a global community. How do you build tomorrow? At Ford, it happens every day.
Mics are back in 30.
Trying to plan a fun corporate or family event?
Back in 20. Mics are hot in 10. Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
5 runs on 5 hits and no errors for the visitors from New Britain. 2 runs on 5 hits, no errors for the Skeeters. Sugarland batting in the home half of the 5th inning. Jose Ortiz, the catcher, 9-1-2 this inning against Anthony Marzi, a left-hander who works quickly. He's ready to go now, and Ortiz still working on a shin guard. Marzi works from the stretch with nobody on base. Big tight leg kick on the pitch, and that one's rope foul outside of third. Hits off the padded fence and propels into left. Ortiz swings to the next one and fouls it right at the plate. He's 4 for 19 in this young season is Ortiz. Prince and Zawadzki to follow. Marzi bounces that glove off his belt, turns his body just enough to try and hide the baseball, and delivers and misses to Ortiz down in the zone. One ball and 2 strikes. Next one on the way is Skeeters high in the jersey of Ortiz and in, and it's 2-2. Come your way an hour earlier tomorrow on Saturday, 6:05 first pitch. There's a high pitch, chopped towards third. The ball stays down for Griffin. His throw across the diamond is in plenty of time to retire Ortiz. That's 4 in a row set down by Marzi since the home run from Wilkins. That led off the 4th inning. Here's Josh Prince. But a 6:05 start tomorrow, a 2:05 start on Sunday for your weekend planning. Should be great weather. Hope to see you out of the ballpark. Believe there's a beach towel giveaway coming up on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
That's a must-have.
Yeah, it's funny how you can remember the giveaways,
Well,
but nothing else.
I remember when it's hot dog night, margarita night. As Josh Prince takes one outside for a ball.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Prince has doubled. He scored one of the 2 Skeeters runs. He bounced to short his last time in. He tried to check on a high pitch. Bees won an appeal, and Michael Durantis umpiring at first says no swing.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that you're going to remember that today is Friday Night Fireworks, because I've never seen a guy leave as fast as you do on
I have a skip in my step. I do. Prince takes one for a strike on that outside corner.
You would think you would go into downtown Houston. You're a Sugar Land resident.
Hey, they're great shows. They're beautiful. I enjoy them from my rear view mirror on Highway 6. The 2-1 pitch is popped up, backing out of play. It's in the seats. Those of us who go to the ballpark for a living, and you're very much in that, although you can walk. I mean, maybe you don't count, but those of us that attend games, every once in a while, if we go as a fan, we leave early just because we can, because we don't get that option in the real world.
You don't leave. You go to a game as a fan and you leave early?
I do from time to time.
Wow.
Just because I can. And if I'm not, last thing you want to do is get stuck in some traffic. You want to be on your way and on with your business. Base is empty, 1 out in the 5th. Skeeters trailing 5-2 tonight. Prince trying to get on for the second time, and he swings and this one well back and out of play to our right.
I'm going to have this stricken from the record because you leave early and you're not a fan. You're working.
Here?
Yeah.
Is that what we call it? Next pitch to Prince, way inside.
I don't see you sitting back here with a hot dog and a margarita.
There's nothing wrong with completing your duties and then doing a full sprint towards the parking.
Sounds like a common theme in your career.
There's a payoff pitch. That ball's lifted to left center. Hit well. Back there near the playground area, and it is going to be caught. Are you kidding me? The base umpire, Brad Parker, says home run. Kraus in center said he caught the deflection. Kraus went over the fence. He got a glove on it, and then he played the carom. The question is, did it hit the fence?
I thought it bounced back. I don't have any replays, so we can't see it here. And Stan Clyburt's going to come out to argue this one. This could be a heated debate.
My goodness, it looked like a home run. Kraus went over the top of the fence, and then all we could see was the ball end up in Kraus's glove after it was in the air. Like either it was in his glove, he flipped it high in the air, and then played the rebound catch. And what Clyburn has done is he's going to get the 3 umpires together to see if the other 2 had a better look than him. And I can't imagine one did, but...
What did you see in the naked eye? I thought he jumped up, it hit that top railing, and came back and he caught it. That's what it looked like to me.
Boy, it'd be awfully tough, though, wouldn't it, if it hit that railing to make the play?
Well, I think it hit between the railing and the top of the wall, so it kind of give you a true almost room service hop. Well, it's hard to see from here.
I mean, we're not talking about safe or out at first base. We're talking about either a home run or an out.
Inning ending out at that.
Prince is already in the dugout. Gary Gaetti is stationed in his coaching box waiting for the verdict. Stan Clyburn is talking with his entire team out there near the shortstop position.
This is a long discussion. This is either going to go very badly for one manager.
Yeah, one's going to be very unhappy. I tell you what, if it is a home run, Kraus sold it pretty good. And they're going to call it a home run. So after the lengthy conversation, Prince is going to get the home run. Now, you don't see the bees jumping up and down, although Stan Clyburn has the baseball. And I think he is showing it to Brad Parker, and I don't know what he's saying, as if maybe there'd be a mark on it if it hit that railing.
The old Yogi Berra shoe scuff, the Mets manager back in the day.
Tell you what, that was one heck of an effort by Clyburn, and it makes you appreciate replay when you have it and when you don't. Home run makes this a 5-3 game. They've not put the run up on the scoreboard yet. Stan's still talking with Brad Parker, and he has the baseball in his hand as if it's a piece of evidence. He wants it admitted to the court. And this is a case where now Parker's walking away. If Stan continues this argument, I would imagine he'll be asked to leave.
What could really be his argument here? Whether it hit the wall. If it hit the wall and has a mark on it, then obviously his player didn't catch it.
Now Stan has the baseball, and he's walking towards Joe Harris at the plate. And this is where he's probably going to get rung. But if he was told that it hit the railing, then Stan's going to want to say, where's the mark on this baseball?
Oh, I got you saying there's no mark, and there it is.
He just got thrown out. Stan's holding it like an Easter egg that he recovered. And this is now, Stan's been very calm throughout, but this is where he starts to become much more animated soon. Holding it like a trophy or like an Easter egg. Now Joe Harris, the plate umpire, is getting his words in. He was the man who offered the ejection. Marzi, meanwhile, is playing catch with his shortstop because he can't do so at the plate. That area is occupied.
Stan was the Atlantic League Manager of the Year last year after bringing his team just one win shy of making the playoffs with an upstart team in their inaugural season, and Stan's not done. He's coming back for more.
Now the question is, does he show the baseball to Michael Durantis, the first base umpire, to complete the hat trick of evidence gathering?
I'm going to say yes here, although he has to go to the locker room that way anyway.
He might as well stop and show Durantis and say, hey, here's what I have to offer. But he's got the baseball with him. He's taking it towards the clubhouse. And I think Stan's going to – is he going to go up through the seats?
Maybe he's going to
sign it.
he's
going to give it to a fan.
I guess he doesn't need it as evidence anymore.
No longer admissible.
Surprised he didn't sign it like Butch Hobson did when he threw him out. He grabbed the base and signed it and gave it to a fan in the stand.
He gave it to a fan wearing a George Springer shirt, a young kid. But Josh Prince has his second home run, and all of a sudden it's a 5-3 game. So the Skeeters have hit a pair of home runs. McGuigan has hit a pair himself. I'm a man of limited means, but I might offer some cash just to see a replay of that, just to see that again.
Well, it is on YouTube, so we can go back and see it. I mean, I don't know if we'll have a good view of it. It'll be the same view we have here. But
we know Kraus went over the fence, and we know the ball ended up in his glove, but we also saw it go in the air after it hit something, whether it was glove, fence, railing, fan.
But if it hits something, it's at least a double.
Sure, if it's something over the fence, it'd be a home run. But here's Zawatsky. He swings and he pops one up in foul territory. Griffin should have a play circling behind Gary, and he dropped the ball. Gary was almost walking in defeat towards the dugout, and he heard the fans behind him cheer as Griffin dropped it. And no doubt that'll be an error, even though Zawatsky remains alive.
This is only game 1 of 6.
It's Friday. It's not the 13th, but this inning alone has become the bizarro inning. Let's see if Zawatsky homers now. He takes one down and out.
That's the way this one's going. He probably will.
Joe Harris wants the count changed.
Gary called it the wacko meter.
Yep.
It's in full swing again. Here in
Wacko meter was
2017.
tilting. Next pitch on the way to Zawatsky is a little tapper back to the mound, fielded by Marzi. He's going to run halfway to first before the lefty underhands to Rosa to retire Zawatsky for out number 2.
It's like the 6th out of the inning already.
Yeah, that's right. Pritz could have been out, but he homered, and Zawatsky should have been out, but he ended up grounding out after all that. Here's Jeremy Barfield. Barfield singled in the 3rd inning, ripped one to left. One down on strikes in the 1st. Bats with the bases empty, and he takes one a little bit in. Fastball from Marzi. 5 home runs for Barfield. He had a third of the team's homers until tonight, and Wilkins and Prince have added to the team's total. So the Skeeters lead the league in home runs, now have 17.
Isn't it unbelievable to lead the league in home runs when you play in a pitcher's park?
Certainly adds a degree of difficulty to it as Marzi misses downstairs. 2 balls and a strike. Bottom of the 5th, 5-3. Skeeters trailing New Britain. Next pitch from Marzi way outside as catcher had to lunge to his right to grab it. Great hitters count here for Barfield. Let's see if he comes unglued, if he gets a pitch to his liking. The answer is yes, and he rips one to right center for a base hit. He's hit a couple of missiles today, both for singles. Played back in by Krause. That's a case where Marzi had been so cautious with Barfield, trying to stay away from the middle of the plate. And on one of those wide-eyed green light counts 3-1, he made his worst pitch of the sequence, and Barfield tattooed it. That's one where a pitcher, it's a win because you kept it in the park. Or it's not a double, it's just a single. Here's Joe Benson, who's 0 for 2, the cleanup hitter. Cleanup hitter who's not homered on a team that's homered more than anybody else in the league. Marzi works from the stretch anyhow. He just limits that late kick with a runner on, and he runs one inside to Benson. Long ball here, and the Skeeters have tied it up. They led early 1-0, then they were trailing 5-1. It's now 5-3 Bees. Pretty good breaking ball, but it carried in and missed. 2-0. We're going to have to get the guy running the balls and strikes and kind of give him a little kick tonight. There we go. 1-1. Is it 1-1 or 2-0? Between Joe Harris and the scoreboard, we've got no chance tonight. Joe Harris is late and punching towards away from us. The scoreboard was 0-0 when it was either 1-0 or 1-1, or now they have it at 2-1. We know there's 2 outs in the inning, although Stan Clyburn thought the inning probably was over by now, and that one carries outside and misses. 3-1.
Joe Harris says it's 3-1.
I believe him. I'm not going to argue with him either. Hitters count for Benson. Marzi, a long pause in his pitch. Buries one down and in, ball 4. So after Zawatsky bounced out, a single and a walk, and a couple of guys on base for Wilkins, who homered in his last at bat. Right now, Barfield's having a conversation with McGuigan, and he's probably saying, "Did he catch it? What do you got? What do you got for him?"
They got an interesting tidbit with Stan Clyburn being thrown out of this ball game. Take a guess how many championship rings he has.
Well, I know we visited with him last year on television, and I think we discussed it, but off the top of my head, I can't remember. But I'll say 5 or 6.
I'll give you an over-under of 10.
Oh, my goodness. I'll go under.
14.
Wow.
14. 8 as a player, 6 as a manager, including a couple of years ago when he was on the coaching staff with Butch Hobson and Lancaster when they beat the Skeeters for the Atlantic League Championship.
And for all that, he has to listen to us for the remaining 4 innings or so as Andy Wilkins steps in. He homered to the splash pad to the left of the ice house, leading off the 4th inning. Wave and a miss. kind of a hanging breaking ball, but Wilkins swung through it. Stan was pretty calm during that entire display, but I did enjoy the visit with the umpires holding the baseball. Wilkins swings and rolls one foul wide at first, and if you're just tuning in, Josh Prince hit a ball this inning that Kraus, the center fielder, jumped up over the fence. The ball popped in the air. We don't know what it hit, railing or something. Kraus caught the rebound as if he had deflected it to himself and recorded an out, but Prince got the home run after a long conversation. And Wilkins takes a ball down and out, 1-2. Barfield's at second base. He's singled. Benson's at first. There's two gone. Benson not being held by Rosa. And Marcy will break contact. Marcy had been pretty efficient in his pitch count until this frame. He's been forced to work. The 1-2, and that breaking ball didn't. It stayed high and missed, 2-2. He's had a couple of those breaking balls that have been a little sloppy where they've just kind of hung. The difference in velocity has been enough a couple of times to get a take or a swing. They haven't had the bend or the tilt that he would probably like. Here's the pitch, and that one missed way in. And the count's gone full, so the runners here will be able to take off early. And if the ball gets to the advertising, Benson could score to tie the game. We're in the bottom of the fifth. Bees at a 4-run fourth. Skeeters looking for a crooked number here in the fifth. Runners ready to go. Here's the 3-2. Another breaking ball just left right there, but it was on the inner half, and Wilkins fouled one softly up the first base side, dying in the dirt. New baseball for Marcy, and Wilkins using that lime yellow wrap around his bat handle, climbs back in there from the left side, left on left. Barfield again will run from second. Benson will follow from first. Here's another payoff pitch, and there's another foul ball rolled towards the Skeeters dugout on the first base side of the stadium. Earlier tonight for the Bees, it was McQuiggan who had just a tremendous at bat against Drayback, fouling off pitch after pitch before he finally hit a homer, his second in the game. Here's Wilkins fouling off pitch after pitch. If he goes yard, it would be his second homer of the game. Payoff, fastball just outside, and Marcy had started for the dugout. He thought he had strike three. Instead, the bases are loaded. That was a pretty good pitch.
It was. I thought it was the right call, though. I thought it was a little bit low in a way.
Well, I don't know if it was low. It may have been outside, but after breaking ball, it came back with a fastball. Missed off the corner, so the bases are juiced for Nelson. It was singled and fly to right. Now just a base hit ties the game. And the pitch from Marcy runs away. Outside for a ball.
Nelson hitting extremely well right now. 7 for his last 16. 437 with a home run and 2 RBIs coming in.
Bases full of Skeeters. There's the next pitch. Hit high and foul and out of play down the right field side back towards the parking lot in the Bayou. After Zawadzki grounded out on the comebacker, bases were empty with 2 gone. Single walk to load him up. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Swinging a foul back to the top of the screen. So Marcy has rebounded to send the count in his favor, 1-2. Nelson has a home run. He's knocked in 6. He could significantly add to those totals. Here's the 1-2 and another hanging breaking ball. Boy, Marcy has just left a few up there above the belt and missed. 2-2. Next pitch hit high in the air to right center field. Well struck. Kraus back, and he will catch this one backpedaling. Ends up against the fence. He caught it on the track. He was shaded in that direction. Otherwise, Ira, I don't think he gets there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he would have missed it, but he held his mitt up in the air when he came down. I don't know if that was sarcasm, saying, "Hey, look, this was a catch."
I caught it. Inning over. Skeeters leave them loaded. It's a 5-3 New Britain lead after 5.
Mics are off. So as of now, I have 7 highlights. Yeah, okay. I got Zawatsky, the single run in the bottom of the first. Top of the third, McGuigan single home run. Top of the fourth, Griffin single run. And then also top of the fourth, Bierfeld sac fly. Also top of the fourth, McGuigan second home run. And then the bottom of the fourth, Wilkins single home run. And then bottom of the fifth, we got the Prince home run. Also 30 seconds to we're back.
Hey fans, come bring the family for one of the most exciting nights of the week here at Consolation Field. Firework Friday, where we celebrate our Skeeters like it's the 4th of July. With music and a fantastic fireworks show after each and every Friday home game that's included with your ticket purchase. We'll be doing this every Friday through the entire
Back in 10.
So start off your weekend with a bang.
Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Five completed as Ira's rocking out here in the broadcast booth. By the way, I got a chance to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland last week.
It's
and
nice,
I
right?
thought of you.
Oh, thank you. I went a few years back. It was great. What'd you think?
I enjoyed it. Good time.
Cleveland is actually a much nicer city than people think.
I would agree. Here's Maddox leading off the inning against Rayback, and he swings to the first one. Lines it to center for a base hit. Maddox has his second hit. B's leading 5-3 as we roll into the 6th.
What were you doing in Cleveland?
Well, I was there for the series, and Estras, so we went to Tape and Open for the first night from right outside the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's not far from where the old stadium used to sit, where the new football stadium sits on the lake, Lake Erie.
I don't know why I always remember this. Must be just from 80s stuff. I remember on Family Ties, the blonde daughter, I can't remember her name. She calls old Cleveland Municipal Stadium. She's like, do you guys have any tickets for tonight's game? And, 40,000? No, I just need 2.
John Griffin, the batter, took a strike from Draybeck, who works from the stretch. Next pitch on the way, big cut and a miss.
I never went to that stadium, only the Jake. You've been to there. Old Cleveland
Never
Municipal,
made it
right
to
now?
Old Cleveland Muni, and I wish I would have.
I don't know if you missed anything. It was not well received.
No, it wasn't. But I'd like to see the dumps. I want to see them. I want to see how bad they are. 0-2, and the pitch is down and out. I will say at what is now Progressive Field, formerly known as the Jake, when they play Wild Thing, when certain relievers come in late in the game and the fans get up on their feet, it does make you think of Cleveland, even though those movie shots took place at County Stadium.
That's right.
Milwaukee rather than Cleveland. Here's the 1-2, and a ground ball softly hit to third. It's going to go foul just in front of the pillow. And Sawatsky was content to play the waiting game, and he won.
In fact, I mean, you've heard me talk before. I was with the Skeeters. I was with San Angelo. The manager of that team was Doc Edwards, who was the real manager of the Cleveland Indians. When the movie came out, a lot of people thought that they based him off. But the thing that Doc always told me, because they were filming, that they had to have a 21-game road trip because they were filming inside of all that.
A lot of those shots, they invited people from Milwaukee out to be in the crowd just to participate. Was midnight, 1 a.m. They're still shooting. There's a liner hit to right center for a base hit off the bat of Griffin. Maddox will turn at second and go to third as Barfield plays it back in. And there's bees on the corners and nobody out.
We're going to see a lot of back and forth tonight.
Yeah, I don't get the feeling we're far from done, but you wanted to see Draybeck come out and maybe throw up a 0 after the Skeeters got one back and nearly had a bigger inning than that when Nelson lined to the warning track in right center with the bases loaded to end the inning. Here's Connor Bierfeld. Hit a sac fly during that 4-run fourth inning for New Britain. Draybeck needs a ground ball, and he gets a swing and a miss at a high and inside pitch. Bierfeld even went to a knee on vicious swing. Jansanti, more than double play depth. He's almost in the baseline between first and second as the pitch misses to send the count to 1-1. Winds have died down a bit. They were blowing out to right center to start the game. We've seen 4 homers tonight, 2 by each team. There's a little cue ball towards Draybeck. He's going to bobble it once and twice, has to throw to first. It was picked by Nelson. What a play. And Maddox had a hold of third base. Had Maddox forced the issue, Draybeck really would have been in no man's land after the bobble, but he held. And if Nelson can't scoop that one, it's in the corner and 2 score.
First you think, all right, they hold the runner. Then you think maybe you can get a double play out of this. Then you think, all right, only going to get one out of this, and almost got nothing out of it.
Advancing to second was Griffin, so the double play no longer in effect in the infield in now, as the batter is Walton, who's 0 for 2. Walton hit a comebacker to Draybeck with a runner at third in the 4th inning. So he gets another shot with the infield in. He's 1 for his last 18, and he takes one downstairs for a ball.
You get crowd on hand here tonight for fireworks. 5,106 fans here at Constellation Field, home of the Atlantic League champion Sugarland Skeeters.
May you all stay late to enjoy every last shell of
I'm
the
going to lock that
fireworks
door,
show.
not let you out. You know, we can't leave once the fireworks are going on. I think it's a new rule.
I don't think there's any safety hazard whatsoever.
The Dolan rule there.
Walton takes one downstairs, 2-0.
I mean, you could trip in the dark. I mean, I couldn't have that. I'd lose you for the whole season. You can't do the games from the DL. You've other games and other obligations that you do. You'd be down for the count.
Promise there'll be no litigation. I'll take my chances. Draybeck needs it out. A 2-0 pitch. Misses down low. Now it's 3-0.
Do you walk him here? Now, granted, McQuiggan's on deck and he's got 2 home runs, but
I don't think so.
Groove one on 3-0.
Did you have his pitch count, or is our internet
Not
hamster
yet.
working?
His point streak is a little behind, so we're still catching up.
I mean, with activity going in the bullpen, this is the possibility, I would think, maybe of the last batter for Draybeck. And he pumps one in at the belt for a strike. His longest outing has been 5 innings. He's at 5 2/3 here, and he has had some lengthy frames. A 3-1 pitch, a chopper wide at first and foul. So the count has gone full.
There is action in the Skeeters bullpen now. Trey Haley begins to warm for the Skeeters.
If you say so. Count is full now to Walton. And a payoff pitch. Boy, that was up in the belt area of Walton, and he fouled it straight back to the netting. Count was 3-0. Now 3 straight strikes, but the count remains full to the right fielder, the left-handed batting Jamar Walton. Second and third, 1 out. The pitch is in the dirt. That's ball 4, and the bases are full of bees with 1 gone. And the batter is McQuiggan, who has already homered twice tonight. He hit one to the pool in the 3rd inning, hit one to the playground area in the 4th. And Draybeck's going to get a chance to face him here for the 3rd time. Right now, Prince at short communicating with Ortiz, and there's a lot of pointing and gesturing going on. Probably seeing if the middle infielders are going to play a double play depth with 1 out, and in fact they will as Jansanti backs up off the cut of the grass at second. Corner infielders even with their backs. And here's the pitch to McGuigan. Up under his chin and missing for a ball. Drabek goes through these spurts where he'll lock in for a couple of hitters, and then 4 or 5 pitches out of 6 might be out of the zone. And he's been able to battle a bit tonight, but now the bases are loaded behind McGuigan, who takes one high. It's 2-0.
You've got 2 home runs in your first 2 at bats. You got to think you're just sitting there looking for a beach ball.
You're feeling pretty good, that's for sure. Drabek needs a strike. McGuigan rolls one to short, sharply hit, fielded by Prince, throws to second for an out, back to first, double play to get out of the inning. Nifty turn by Prince, a quick exchange, and the relay from Jansanti gets McGuigan. So Drabek stays in the game. He gets the twin killing and keeps this a 2-run contest. Still 5-3 Bs, bottom of the 6th.
Mics are off. Mics are back in 30. Back in 10. Mics are back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All you gotta do is take tonight's game ticket to Raising Cane's within the next 48 hours.
How about the end of the top of the 6th inning? Skeeters looking like they were on the ropes, as was Drabek. 5-3 game, bases loaded. McGuigan a couple of homers already and a sharply hit ground ball, and the Skeeters get the twin killing.
Man, that was a tough play for Prince because he had to kind of go to his right first and then spin and throw with his momentum going back towards third. And I didn't know if they were going to have enough time to do that, but great job by Drabek. Looked like he was just about to get knocked out of this game, and he hung tough.
Maybe that shows the big league in him. He's going to battle. And you're right about Prince. He had a lunge to his right. Instead of a backhand, he got in front of it, so he was flat-footed but able to quickly get the exchange. Didn't want that ball to skip off his glove or roll away. Wanted to secure it, and he did. And he turned it over. Now we're going to see a new pitcher from the Bees. We go from a kind of a soft toss and lefty to a unique right-handed thrower here, and Brandon Shimo.
Shimo is 6'2", 195, Pennsylvania native. This pitch for Winnipeg in the American Association.
Anthony Jansanti will lead off, a right-handed batter. It's a 7, 8, and 9 spots due up this inning. Bottom of the 6th, Skeeters trailing by a pair. Each team has 7 hits. Each team has homered twice. But it's a 5-3 New Britain lead as this series and homestand begins. Jansanti takes one up and in for a ball. He's walked and popped to short. That ball laced down the left field line into the corner. It takes a bounce and kicks up off the Bud Light sign. Bierfeld will play it back in. His throw is well off the mark, and in diving with the double is Jansanti on the first or the second pitch of the inning.
Jansanti has just been on a hot streak over the last few games, and he is really turning it up a notch now.
Now a meeting on the hill as Shimo calls out his catcher. Last year, he was part of the American Association Championship team with Winnipeg. Gary Gaetti, meanwhile, comes down the line from third to talk with Derek Miller as center fielder.
Shimo has only spent his career in independent ball. Began with the Frontier League, then the Can-Am League, back to the Frontier League, the American Association, as you mentioned. Last year, 2-2 with a 4.44 ERA.
Boy, he's made the tour of some of these independent leagues still early in his career. Pitch to Miller, and that one is chopped foul past Gary down the left field side.
He's just 26 years old. Went to Kutztown University of Pennsylvania. Oh, I think Kutztown has some claim to fame.
That's what Google's for.
Coming from the guy with no computer.
Well, I'd have to be able to get internet in here. It'd be kind of useless. Be like a car without gas. It would look good, it just wouldn't do anything. Nothing in one to Miller. That pitch almost looked like a knuckler the way it reacted and carried out of the zone away from Miller, and it's a ball then a strike.
Towns' significance. New Britain, known as Hardware City, the home of Black & Decker, hence the black and gray and yellow.
Ball then a strike to Miller. Shimo's pitch is popped up behind the plate. Villacusa with room, shy of the track, makes the catch for out number one. So Miller is retired. Jansanti doesn't get to advance. He's at second with one gone now for Jose Ortiz, the catcher, batting ninth.
Getting to the bottom of this Kutztown mystery.
Yeah, they always have the famous folks too, right?
Yeah. Maybe it was just Kutztown University. Andre Reed from Kutztown.
Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Ryan
Vogelschlang. There we go. I knew it was somebody. Went to Kutztown University, Vogelschlang.
Ortiz swings and fouls one off his counterpart. Back to the screen for strike one.
Bruce Harper played for the Jets for many years.
Skeeters trailing 5-3 in the bottom of the sixth. Shimo, a long look back towards second of this pitch. That one really spun in almost over the plate, but Joe Harris didn't give him the benefit of the doubt. Skeeters got a run in the first. Peace got a run in the third to tie. They had 4 runs in the fourth inning to build up a 5-1 lead. It's now a 5-3 contest. Another pop-up. Playable possibly again. Back towards the screen. Now lunging to his left. It looked like a little bit of a snow cone catch by Villacusa, but he's able to collect another one. How about that? Back-to-back catches.
That was not an easy catch for Villacusa. He had to kind of go all the way back and then to his left and kind of lunge at it a bit. I don't know if I've ever seen on any level 3 foul outs to the catcher of the same.
Well, if he gets one here from Prince, he will have the hat trick.
Prince halfway to the cycle, the double and a home run.
Home run was a contested one that led to the ejection of Stan Clyburn, but Prince got his long ball as second. He's also doubled. The one time he was retired, sharply grounded out to short. Skeeters don't want to waste a leadoff double from Jansanti, and Prince hammers one foul wide at third for strike one.
By the way, I mentioned Clyburn with the 14 rings, his 44th year. I mean, it doesn't take a mathematician. He's winning a championship once every 3 years.
It's better than in a presidential election, right? You're winning every 3 years,
yeah,
on average. How many did Yogi get with all of
10.
this? Okay.
The most for any player. Kind of spanned the Mantle and DiMaggio eras, so he got the best of both.
0-1 pitch, and that one had Prince spinning his wheels a bit, swinging and missing for strike two. Jansanti doubled down the left field line to start the inning, but he remains at second with 2 gone. Shimo provides quite a contrast in pitching styles, and he spins one in there for a strike, and Prince just flips the bat aside. That one started at his kneecap, finished over the plate, and the inning ends. Skeeters waste the leadoff double. They've stranded 7 in the game. To the 7th inning we go. Still 5-3 Bees.
Mics are off.
Our good friend Marky Mark says, Murray, what the hell? Now more Blue Talk without Scott? That's like doing an entire segment on Notre Dame athletics without Murray.
You guys do a German Pope and anime story when
We talk wrestling, how not to go outside, and blue shirts when you're not here. Bastards.
Weekday mornings from 5 to 8 on SB Nation 1560.
Skeeters fans, end your weekend with Skeeters baseball at Constellation Field for Sunday Fun Day. We have something for everyone. Play catch in the outfield, and your favorite Skeeters players will be signing autographs before the game. Also, after the game, all kids will be able to run the bases. Constellation Field has everything you need for a fun, family-friendly, affordable day at the ballpark. For more information, contact us at 281-240-HITS or visit us on the web at sugarlandskeeters.com.
Back in 30. When we get back, can one of y'all say pause 10 seconds again for the station ID? Okay, thank you.
Let us make it easy for you. Sweet rentals come with food and soft drinks, parking privileges, and even access to the train.
Back in 10.
To plan your event, call us at 281.
Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
6 innings complete. We go to the 7th, 5-3 Bees. And once again, here's Ira.
Well, thanks, Brett. Trey Haley will come on a pitch here. Before we tell you all about him, we're going to pause 10 seconds for station identification. Trey Haley will take over here for Kyle Drabeck. Skeeters are trailing 5-3 still. Haley, number 26, 6'4", 215, a Texas native from Nacogdoches. Has played for Altoona at AA. He's been as high as AAA 9 years as a pro for Haley. Haley will face 9-1-2. See a lot of smoke coming over there from the picnic area. He's getting a little concerned. Hopefully it's just a greasy burger.
I was getting hungry.
Although you could pull a George Costanza and start running through people, paving the way. Well, Haley spent last year at AAA Indianapolis and AA Altoona 2-5 with a 5.50 ERA. Originally drafted by the Indians in the second round in 2008. Career mark of 22-35 with a 4.76 ERA.
So you got a second-round pick replacing a first-round pick for the Skeeters pitching staff tonight.
That's the way we do it here in Sugarland. In steps Ivan Villacusa. First pitch here. A strike, 0-1 the count.
To pronouncing that name, James Skelton can catch the rest of the series if he'd like.
I'm sure we will see Skelton. Villacusa is 0 for 2. He is grounded at the short, grounded at the second. Big fastball there by Haley, blows it past Villacusa. No balls and 2 strikes.
I suppose in the offseason, Skelton bulked up to like 150 pounds.
Soaking wet, maybe. Still amongst the league leaders in walks, as always. Great speed for a catcher. The 0-2, way inside. And backs Villacusa off the plate. Haley features a fastball, a slider, a sinker, and a changeup. Haley from the stretch. The right-hander deals the 1-2. And that one just misses off the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now, I thought I had Harris down there that time. I thought he was going to punch him out for strike 3, so I paused. And he didn't call it a strike. The 2-2. So on a hit sharply left side, that one foul. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes here on Villacusa. 0 for 8 on the season. He chokes up on the bat. I like that. Kusei switch hitter, batting here from the left side against the right-hander. Long look in here by Haley. Going to set up outside, and the 2-2. Swung in off the fist. I don't know if he missed the target there, but ran him in on the fists.
That sounded like it went off his hands. Got above him on the handle, but sawed him off pretty good. He's having a running dialogue with Ortiz behind the plate. They're having a good conversation.
A little distraction at first base. Again, the 2-2. Swung on a missed, strike three. It is dropped by Ortiz. He'll have to throw it down to first to complete it. He does. First strikeout for Haley. 6 for Skeeters pitching. 1 out, none on. Back to the top of the order with Steve Carrillo. Carrillo, 0 for 2. He has flied out to left, flied out to right, between walked. Carrillo came in at 204. No home runs and 2 RBIs. I believe it was warmer on the East Coast than it's here in Texas.
No, and they've had some cold spells through the Midwest, but apparently you guys were a little bit ahead of that.
Well, that 2-2. We just missed some of that weather because it was still raining when we took off.
You know, the A's were in town to play Houston Astros over the weekend, and they had an off day Monday at Minneapolis. And I said to a few of their personnel, what are you going to do on the off day? And they said, well, we were going to golf, but it's supposed to snow.
Yikes. This one way inside almost hits Carrillo, who is now 0 for his last 10.
Wasn't it Coors Field that tweeted out a picture just a couple of days ago completely covered in snow, but the Rockies were in Arizona rather than at home? Otherwise, they would have had a snow out.
Possible. When I was in Colorado Springs, we had several snow outs.
Once you get to May, you kind of say uncle, though, when you live there, right? I mean, you're like, enough.
This one is a strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Yeah, you do. Although in Colorado Springs, which is 1,000 feet higher than Denver, the snow disappears within 24 hours. It's like living under a magnifying glass. You can get burnt in 65-degree weather there. This one low. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out, none on. And a game that was crazy to start off, as seemed to have settled down here over the last 2 innings. Skeeters trailing by 2, 5-3 here. Top half of the 7th. The 3-1 here to Carrillo. Way inside, low and into the right-handed hitter near his feet. Ball 4. A 1 on and 1 out here for Michael Krause. Krause so far tonight has struck out twice and sandwiched between a fielder's choice, so he's 0 for 3. Krause riding a 6-game hitting streak. 9 for 24 during that stretch. 2 home runs and a triple. Former 16th round pick of the Blue Jays in 2008. I was in high school out of Canada. Mentioned he played in the World Baseball Classic this year. First pitch here, a strike, 0-1 here to Krause. That was fun to watch the World Baseball Classic. It had 22, featured 22 former or current Atlantic League players.
Good representation.
Yeah. Leo 1. This one a strike, no balls and 2 strikes to count.
One thing that surprised me a little bit, you know, it wasn't that long ago, boy, Canada had some real big-time players.
Yeah.
And it feels like as they've aged, there hasn't been that wave of talent coming behind them.
And that's what happens a lot. Team Australia has gone through the same thing. They were on the verge of really breaking out, and there wasn't that second wave. A lot of those guys playing in their last World Baseball Classic. This one through the left side. It's going to be a base hit, first and second, only 1 away. Skeeters trailing 5-3. They do not want to make it any more. As Javon Rosa will stab, and Rosa's already doubled, walked, scored, grounded at the short his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Rosa came in 245, no home runs and 2 RBIs. That's the right-handed hitting. First baseman stands fairly deep in the box. First pitch here by Haley, swung on, broken bat, popped up. Who's going to get it? It is Ortiz, Skeeters catcher, who had to field it to his left. Tough play for a catcher to the left of home, and he didn't grab it as a catcher usually does with the ball over his head to his left with that catcher's mitt. Not easy.
That's a double irritant to Rosa. Comes up with a couple of guys on first pitch. You crack your bat, you pop up, you're retired, and you have to carry that broken bat with you back to the dugout.
Well, that'll bring in Maddox. "5-3, the Skeeters trailing here. Maddox 2 for 3. This one hit toward short. This could be 2. Dropped by Prince, and I don't think they're going to get anybody. Throw to first. Yeah, they got him. What a play by Josh Prince, recovering and gets the runner at first. Skeeters still trailing by 2, 5-3. Well, his 7th inning stretch time. Get your peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I do care if you never come back. Back here in just a moment.
Mike's Ralph.
The Ford Foundation established its legacy of providing help to those in need. Upon that foundation, we invest and build in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and life education. How do you build tomorrow? At Ford, it happens every day.
Back in 20. Back in 10. Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, I hope you're all stretched out. Skeeters are down 2. And we'll try to tie it up here in the bottom of the 7th or take the lead. And Nathan Werner back in the studio, keeping us afloat. He's stretching out. He's as limber as they come. Well, here in the bottom of the 7th, it'll be 2, 3, and 4. Lance Sawatsky, Jeremy Barfield, Joe Benson. So far tonight, Sawatsky, an RBI single in his first at-bat, popped out to short in his second at-bat, then grounded out to pitcher in his last at-bat in the 5th. Sawatsky really just about ready to break out of this one, breaking out of his little slump. "5-3, you want to get the leadoff man on here. Skeeters got the leadoff man on last inning in Jansanti, but could not push a run across. This one hit to the right side, right at the first baseman. Rosa has it. He'll flip to the covering Shimo, and that is out number 1. Bring in Jeremy Barfield, 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Barfield came in hitting a lofty .382. 5 home runs, 10 RBIs. Barfield can get the Skeeters going here. He's been doing it all, not just the long balls, the defending home run champ.
Yeah, 2 more hits tonight, give him 23 on the season.
That is tops in the Atlantic League. This one down low. 1 ball and no strikes to count. You know he's going to be looking long ball here, though. Even though it'll still make it a 1-run game. This one chopped just short. Carrillo has it. Strong to first, and there is out number 2. After Shimo allowed the leadoff double to Jansanti, he has now retired 5 straight. Now to bring in Joe Benson. Benson has grounded at the third, hit into a fielder's choice, walked last time up. We'll bat here with 2 outs, none on. And the Bees up 5-3 over your Skeeters. Take a look at some Atlantic League scores here if time permits. First pitch to Benson. Just missed a little low, 1-0. The Blue Crabs, glad to see the Skeeters go. Sugar Land took 3 of 4. The Blue Crabs beat the Ducks 2-1. It is the Revolution and the Patriots in a 2-2 duel. And the Barnstormers leading Bridgeport 4-2 as Benson swings and misses at a ball low and away, 1-1. Right here, the Skeeters trail by 2, 5-3 here to the New Britain Bees, playing the first game against each other this season in game 1 of a 6-game series here against New Britain and in game 1 of a great 10-game homestand. A lot of promotions going on this homestand. 2 balls and a strike now here to Benson as that one misses. Got a favorite 80s band?
I got a lot in the 80s. You can't go wrong with that channel on Sirius XM.
Oh, no, you can't.
80s on 8?
Yep. 3-1 now here to Benson. And the Ringwalds will come in here on this homestand May 13th. It's going to be a phenomenal one. This one, a strike on the outside, kind of full count. Then on June 9th, the Spasmatics, who were here last year, another 80s band.
They performed at halftime this year of a Texans game, and I was up in the press box, and all of a sudden I heard that unmistakable sound. I'm like, that's the Spasmatics.
Payoff pitch to Benson. This one on the inside corner, strike 3. Great inning here for Shimo. 2 groundouts and a strikeout, and the Skeeters are done here in the 7th. Through 7 innings of play, the Bees still in front in the Battle of the Buzz, 5-3 over the Skeeters.
Mics are off.
Every Tuesday home game at Constellation Field is 2 for Tuesday. If you buy 1 field box or grassland ticket, you get another one free. Plus, any group of 20 or more can get in for half price. It's the biggest steal of the season. Join your Skeeters for every Tuesday home game for 2 for Tuesdays at Constellation Field. To get your tickets, call 281-240-HITS. That's 281-240-4487 or visit SugarlandSkeeters.com.
Back in 30. Back in 20.
With multi-game ticket options, we have packages to fit you and your family's budget. Be a full season ticket holder and enjoy all the perks that come with it.
Back in 10.
We even have flex books.
Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
New pitcher for the Skeeters. Felipe Paulino comes on here in this 8th inning. Paulino making his 7th appearance. CRA 6.35 for Paulino. That equates to 4 runs in 5 2/3 innings of work, even though the league hitting only .217 against him.
Well, Paulino will take over here. Take a closer look at Felipe. Paulino, number 39, is 6'3", 270. Originally from the Dominican Republic, now makes his home here in Pearland, Texas. Last year in the Mexican League, the former big leaguer in his 14th season as a pro. Well, we will face 5, 6, and 7. The big 6'6", John Griffin, will lead it off. First pitch to Griffin is nubbed foul off of first, 0-1. After Griffin, it'll be Connor Bierfeld and Jamar Walton. Well, so far this season, Paulino, no record of 6.35 ERA, his 7th appearance. He does have 4 saves, 5 2/3, 8 strikeouts, 4 walks, 5 hits. Last time out was in that crazy 12-11 Skeeters win. He went a third of an inning, allowed 2 runs, both earned, 2 hits, walked 2, and struck out 1. The pitch here is a strike on the outside corner, 0-2. In fact, Paulino got into 3 games on that 7-game road trip, the first road trip of the year for the Skeeters. Skeeters trailing 5-3 here in the top half of the 8th. We 0-2 to Griffin. On the outside corner, strike 3. It took me 8 innings, but now I got the timing of umpire Joe Harris's ring 'em ups. First strikeout for Paulino, 1 out, none on for Connor Bierfeld, who has struck out, had a sac fly, and then grounded back to the pitcher. At the time was starter Kyle Drabeck, who right now is on the hook for the loss if the Skeeters don't come back. Skeeters got a run in the first. They got a solo run in the 4th and the 5th. New Britain got a solo run in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th, and that's been it. Got the makings of a 12-11 game. There's a strike, no balls and 1 strike to count. Paulino was signed as an undrafted free agent by the Astros in 2001. Spent big league time with the Astros, the Rockies, Royals, and White Sox. The 0-1. This one low and away, backhanded. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 5-3, the Bees in front of the Skeeters here in the top of the 8th. Ira Liebman along with Brett Dolan. Paulino, major league career numbers of 13 and 34 record, a 5.22 ERA. This one is swung on jam shot into shallow right field. In comes Barfield, and he will call off second baseman Anthony Jansanti and bring it down for the 2nd out.
Well, you could hear Barfield call off Jansanti all the way from the press box just to make sure that he heard it.
Imagine running full speed into Barfield.
No.
That is not a happy ending.
You know, I've seen a couple of those collisions already this year at different levels, and they are frightening.
What was the one I just saw recently? Oh, Brett Gardner. Did you see that one at first? My goodness.
Yep.
I mean, that was like football-esque.
Yeah, that's just, you know, you're talking about potential concussion, whiplash.
Well, in steps Jamar Walton. This one down low, and that one got a piece of Ortiz. He's gotten nicked up quite a bit tonight.
Paulino's yanked a couple where he's either reached back for a little more and either skipped it or bounced it away, and Joe Harris will walk this new ball all the way out to the mound to give Ortiz a chance to collect himself. That one stung.
Paulino in the minors, 30 and 40 with a 4.55 ERA.
You know, the frustrating part for Felipe, and you mentioned the big league numbers, was the disparity of wins and losses. And I know the sabermetricians will tell you, hey, there's other things that are important, but he just had some years where he just couldn't get on the north side of 500. And obviously that 13 and 37 mark would indicate that. Always was known for having a live arm and big-time velocity.
Still throws pretty hard. I'm just curious to see how hard that is. Hasn't been any radar guns where we've been.
Well, I've been
don't even
putting
start.
that on
Don't even start
on
it.
your list.
The list is long.
I mean, you
It's
got
like
a few
being
things
Santa.
checked off, but I mean,
You're so hard to please. We're working on it diligently, I promise you. This one foul back, 2-1 the count here. You pitched pretty well for your Royals back in 2012. 3-1 with a 1.67 ERA.
well, he definitely found his niche more out of the bullpen than as a starter, and obviously that's a role that's continued here.
The 2-1. Slap foul down the left side as Walton tries to go the other way with it. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Skeeters trail by 2, 5-3 here in the top half of the 8th. Paulino from the stretch. They set up outside, and this one swung and drilled down the right side as Walton going with the ball. Went the other way in the last pitch and pulls this one deep down the right side. Hard at that. The ball gets away from somebody in the Skeeters pen, it looks like.
I think that hit about 4 different seats before it ended up back on the field of play, so it wouldn't stay in the seats. And Jansanti has to go retrieve.
So again, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Skeeters trailing 5-3 here in the top of the 8th. The 2-2 here to Walton. Swung and a miss, strike 3. That'll do it. Great job by Paulino. 2 Ks, a fly to right sandwich between as the Bees buzz 1, 2, 3. Middle of the 8th, 5-3. New Britain in front of Sugarland.
Mics are off.
Sugarland Skeeters are all about fun, family-friendly, affordable entertainment. That's why every Wednesday home game is free to all kids 12 and under at Constellation Field. Kids can have fun all game long with our outfield playground and splash zone while taking in Skeeters games. And it's all free. Wednesdays are all about the kids at Constellation Field. For information and tickets, call 281-240-HITS or visit SugarlandSkeeters.com.
June 26th.
So there I was, this morning at my business when I hit and run. The sky came out of nowhere. Bam! And he just kept going. Texas found the interest was there. With the rain, which was I knew it. Some people on the way looked at me to make me start getting one.
So call 877 Farm Bureau. Say that.
Mics are back in 30.
Want to watch a Skeeters game in style? We have just what you need. Our game day suites are ideal for entertaining fun.
Back in 20.
Here's some malls. Let us make it easy for you. Suite rentals come
Back in 10. Mics are back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
We move to the bottom of the 8th. Skeeters trailing 5-3. They'll have 2 more shots at it. A little confusion here. Gary Getty asking what's going on.
Joe Harris said, hey, there's a new pitcher. And Gary said, no, there isn't. That's the same guy. And he goes, what? I guarantee you that's exactly what transpired in that conversation.
Maybe there was a new infielder defensively, because you have to know Shimo came out very quickly, which means there would not be a new pitcher. He was already on the mound as soon as the inning ended. Well, in steps Andy Wilkins. First pitch here to Wilkins is low and into the left-handed hitting DH. Wilkins has struck out, homered, and walked. It'll be Wilkins, Chris Nelson, and Anthony Jansanti. Wilkins came in 222, now a home run and 6 RBIs as he fouls this one sharply down the right side. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Wilkins is ready, as is Shimo. The 1-1. Just missed off the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike here to Wilkins. Wilkins, a former 25th round pick of the Rangers in 2007. 123 career dingers. Now 124. The 2-1, low and in, 3-1. Wilkins steps out momentarily, now back into the box. The 3-1. Strike on the outside corner. Good off-speed pitch by Shimo. Now runs the count full 3-2. Skeeters trailing 5-3 here in the bottom of the 8th. Payout pitch here to Wilkins. Swung on, hit high in the air. The shallow left field, the shortstop Carrillo out, and he'll bring it down in short left center for out number 1. That is 7 in a row now retired by New Britain pitching. 6 of them from Shimo. In steps Chris Nelson, former big leaguer, has singled, fly out to right, fly out to center. He's 1 for 3. If there's any other finals here around the Atlantic League. to it right after this first pitch to Nelson. One is slowly grounded left side. Griffin charges, fires on the run in time as Rosa stretches towards right to bring that one in. He's now 8 straight retired by New Britain pitching. I mentioned Southern Maryland earlier beat the Ducks 2-1. That was a final. The Barnstormers leading Bridgeport now 4-2 in the bottom of the 7th, and York and Somerset in extra innings top of the 10th. It is York leading 3-2. Right here, the Skeeters are trailing 5-3. We have 4 more outs to work with. 2 outs, none on here for Sugar Land in the 8th. Anthony Jansanti steps in. He is walked. He has doubled and really robbed on a play by Steve Carrillo at short. And it was more robbed than Carrillo made a tough play out of it. This one is low and away. 1 ball and no strikes here on Anthony. The 1-0 here to Jansanti. This one is under the hands. 2 balls and no strikes. Derek Miller on deck. Ortiz after that. So the Skeeters will turn the order over in the 9th, even if they don't do anything here.
Just need a couple of base runners to ensure that Barfield would bat.
The 2-0 club down the left field line. That one is going to be in the corner. Good hop by the left fielder Bierfeld. Play at second is not in time. Pete Rose-esque slide by Jansanti. And the Skeeters have a runner down at second with 2 away here in the 8th.
Jansanti's done that twice, ripping one into the left field corner. That, though, I thought if Bierfeld would be able to put the throw near the bag, he might have a shot as hard as it was hit in the way he played that Karaman left.
Well, Derek Miller will step in. Miller so far tonight is hit into a double play, grounded out to short, and fouled out to the catcher. As Villacusa goes to the mound to talk to Shimu. Derek Miller came in 292 with a home run and 4 RBIs for the right-handed hitting center fielder for Sugar Land. They're trailing 5-3 here. Miller represents the tying run at the plate. Miller on the road hit his 4th home run of his career. This one swung on, popped up again. Behind the plate is Villacusa, and he'll run out of room. A couple of ricochets until fan in the front row got it, trickled to him. Now his friend handed him the ball, and he held his hands up like he caught it.
Yeah, he's pointing to the skies and the heavens, and he's giving thanks, but he really didn't do much.
0-1 the count on Miller, so he will have second life here. The 0-1. This one is low and in. 1 ball and 1 strike to count.
Well, Schimmel can start that ball at your kneecap as a right-handed batter and occasionally get that ball to run back over the plate.
A double by Jansanti broke up 8 straight retired by New Britain and 6 straight retired by Shimu. It really does breaks inside, but off the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike here to Miller.
I mean, that one didn't have the spin he wanted, and it still almost came back.
Yep. Those guys you can't really give up on. You got to stay with the pitch until it hits the catcher's mitt. The 2-1. This is inside 3-1. Three balls, 1 strike. 2 outs, 1 on. Skeeters trailing by 2, 5-3 here in the bottom of the 8th. The 3-1. Swung and up foul. Ooh, that one off the foot of Miller. He goes down. He gets up here. Trying to walk it off. Him on the front foot.
He got that one pretty good.
That'll run the count full 3-2. Should he reach, Jose Ortiz is on deck. Miller will step back into the box here. Represents a tying run at the plate here in the bottom of the 8th with the Skeeters trailing 5-3. Shimo from the stretch. The payoff pitch here to Miller. Low and away, ball 4. And the frisbee-like slider misses. And now the go-ahead run comes to the plate in Jose Ortiz.
What was Villacusa doing? It was almost like he was stepping up expecting a pitch out. Then all of a sudden he had to drop back into his crouch, and he was lucky to catch a pitch that didn't miss by that much.
And we're going to get we're going to get Travis Scott to pinch hit. I had a feeling we might see a pinch hitter should Miller reach.
Especially on a night where a left-handed hitter could get one up. The wind was blowing out earlier. Right now it's neutral, but it's not going to knock down any ball hit to the gap. But we're also going to have a pitching change as well.
So we'll take a break. We'll find out who the new pitcher is for New Britain. Be a new hitter for the Skeeters as well, and Travis Scott. Skeeters threatening here, first and second. 2 outs. Down 5-3. Back in a moment.
Mics are off.
By creating opportunity, Floor builds communities.
Are we gonna need more than a minute or a minute 30 for this? Okay.
No.
We are proud of our commitment. We are proud of our employees. We are dedicated to building our global community. How do you build tomorrow? At Floor, it happens every day.
Hi, this is Harold Dunn. And this is Bill Olson, inviting you to join us Saturday mornings at 7 for Texas Outdoor News. It's the country's #1 outdoor radio show for a lot of good reasons. We bring you information and news you can use. And guests you'll want to listen to from industry and the field. Now our 24th year, the Texas-based outdoor radio show, Texas Outdoor News, brought to you by Ford Trucks and the best in Texas Ford News. Join us Saturday morning, 7 to 8 on SB Nation 1560.
Mics are back in 30.
Skeeters fans, join us this and every Thursday for Thursday Thursdays at Constellation Field. With $2 beer and soda, you won't go Thursdays. Don't miss out on the best Thursday special in Sugar. Join us every Thursday.
Mics are back in 10.
For more information on Skeeters tickets and promotions, call 281.
Mics are back in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beasts have gone to their bullpen. Going to bring on a right-hander, Nate Rowe. This will be his 7th appearance. Tied for the most on this team, and they've been good. Earner on average, less than a run a game. 1 run in 11 innings and 11 strikeouts.
Now Rowe will take over here. Number 136205, a Plainsfield, New Jersey native. Last year also spent time with these Bees. Skeeters threatening here. A minuscule ERA, .81. Last time out in a loss, 3-2 to Somerset. He went 1 inning. Didn't allow a run or a hit. Walked 2, struck out 1. We'll face Travis Scott here with runners on first and second. And 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th, and the Skeeters trailing by 2-5-3. Rowe ready to deal here to the Skeeters. Left-handed hitting Travis Scott, who will come in and catch for Ortiz as well. First pitch swung and fouled back right in front of us. No balls and 1 strike to count. Scott hitting well as of late. Overall 255, 2 home runs and 7 RBIs. Last night, Travis on base once, walked, drove in a run. It was 0 for 4. The 0-1. Way inside, ducks back the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Rowe last year for New Britain 5-3 with a .587 ERA. 56 2/3. Allowed 67 hits. Walked 22 and struck out 21. Not a good ratio. This one, a strike on the inside corner. 1 ball and 2 strikes here. Rowe is ready. 1-2 here on Scott. Rowe, 33 years old. Excuse me, 20. 6 years old. This one swung, chopped over Rowe's head, up the middle. That'll get through for a base hit. Around third, coming home is Jansanti. Now it gets away from Kraus. Here comes the tying run, and Miller's going to score, and we're all tied at 5-5. Derek Miller scrolls all the way from first as Kraus tried to grab it and throw it in one motion and overran it. We have a brand new ball game.
Not only did Kraus butcher it, the ball rolled 20 feet behind him. If he just knocks it down, that second run doesn't score. And he was hopping mad after he made that mistake, and it's one you simply can't do with 2 outs.
And heads up, Travis Scott also at second, who represents the go-ahead run, and Josh Prince will step in, having a great night. He has doubled and homered. He's 2 for 4. So in steps the Skeeters right-handed hitting shortstop. First pitch, swung on and hit in the air deep to left field, going back to the track, to the wall, and he got it all! And the Skeeters have taken a 7-5 lead. 4 runs here in the bottom of the 8th. Second home run of the game for Josh Prince.
Kraus didn't catch that one. Landed on the carousel. That's as animated as I've seen Prince after a swing.
It all started with 2 outs, a double by Jansanti, a walk to Derek Miller, Travis Scott a pinch hit single, the error by Kraus, and now the home run by Josh Prince. And just like that, the Skeeters 3 outs away from a win after trailing by 2.
Wow, bases empty, 2 outs. It was the walk to Miller that changed the fortunes, but obviously the base hit up the middle and the E8 didn't help.
This one misses outside. Hit a Lance Zawatsky, who's 1 for 4. He drove in the first run of the game for Sugar Land. Skeeters now leading 7-5 in this one.
Each team has had a 4-run inning.
This one a strike on the outside corner. Rowe from the stretch will kick and deal. Swung on a hit high in the air to right field. This should be playable. Walton going near the corner, and he tracks it down on the warning track, and that will do it. But the Skeeters get 4 runs, highlighted by the pinch hit RBI by Travis Scott and the big 2-run blow by Prince. Skeeters with a chance to win it when we come back. They're up by 2. They need 3 defensive outs to do it. We'll see if they can polish it off when we get back here in a moment, and the Battle of the Buzz continues.
Mics are off. No, the machine's lagging, so give me a second on those. I'm trying to get them.
You can probably dump that sack fly or something earlier in the game. You don't need something like that now.
That's all right. That's the only thing I got to dump up. What's sack fly?
A B sack fly in the 4th can go for sure. Maybe even one of those hits.
Travis Scott, yeah, we kind of figured that. Is that no?
That's not Travis.
No, that's not Travis. Is that Cordero?
It's a single number.
I think that's Cordero. Yeah, it's number 3. It's not Patterson.
Back in 30. Back in 10. Back in 5, 4, 3, 2.
So Felipe Paulino will try to finish it off here. At a 1-2-3 8th, and we'll try for the 2-inning save. Skeeters, who are trailing 5-3 going into the bottom of the 8th, got 4 runs And now have a chance to win this one. They're up 7-5. Here it will be Jake McGuigan, Ivan Villacusa, then back to the top of the order with Steve Carrillo. Remember, McGuigan has 2 home runs already on the evening. Paulino, no small fry out there. 6'3", 270. First pitch by the Skeeters right-hander. Swung and fouled straight back, 0-1 the count.
New catcher Albert Cordero replaces Scott, who pinch hit for Ortiz.
Cordero just got here today and was activated today with Zach Zenicola going on the DL with a injury. We're going to lose Zach for a few weeks, unfortunately. Via 1, way inside. 1 ball and 1 strike here on McGuigan. McGuigan came in just 172. No home runs, 1 RBI. Now 2 home runs and 3 RBIs here tonight. The 1-1. Check swing, but he clearly got a little piece of that as well.
That was a defensive swing. That was like swatting at a fly right there. He kind of started the swing and then just couldn't stop.
You smash a bee, you swat a Skeeter.
Smash and squat. I smash them both.
You're just mean. The 1-2. Swung and sliced foul into the net.
How about that defensive swing? He almost took out Gary Gaetti with a low line drive in the first base dugout.
Thank goodness for the nets going all the way to the dugout. That was crushed. Just extended those nets last season all the way. The 1-2. Swung and hit slowly to third. Zawadzki has it. The toss across right on the money, and the Skeeters are 2 outs away. Good job sometimes settling things down. Can do it. Paulina now 4 straight. He had a 3-up, 3-down inning. The Skeeters answered with 4 runs. And the Skeeters 2 outs away from a win. Skeeters, Felipe Paulina also 2 outs away from his 5th save.
Pinch hitter here for the catcher. Kronfeld.
Well, Kronfeld will step in. A Tampa, Florida native. First pitch here, a strike, 0-1. Kronfeld, 6'3", 220. And at Schaumburg last year, he's been as high as A-ball. The 0-1 from Paulino. Good off-speed pitch, just missed.
Almost brought that back door for a strike.
One ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Skeeters leading 7-5 here in the top of the 9th. Swung and missed as Paulino blows the fastball past him. 1-2.
So Cordero wanted that so far in, I thought it might hit the left-handed batter, and he ended up missing 1.5 feet outside, and he got the swing and a miss.
I'm going to test you here. Kronfeld went to Georgia Tech and to Catawamba College. Where is Catawamba? The 1-2. Just misses off the outside corner, 2-2.
I feel like I should know. How about Mississippi?
North Carolina.
That's right. There you go.
The 2-2. This is low and away. That'll run the count full 3-2. Kronfeld, 25th round pick of the Reds back in 2014. Last year with Schaumburg, 279, 10 home runs, 49 RBIs. Pretty good season. Payoff pitch here by Paulino. Low and away, ball 4. Now the tying run comes to the plate, unfortunately, after Paulino had retired 4 straight.
Well, Paulino just really didn't know where that ball was going during that segment, and it didn't help that Cordero didn't catch the last pitch. He botched it, and what would have been a borderline maybe strike.
On top of the order now with Steve Carrillo. Carrillo has walked twice and flied out twice. He's 0 for 2. Vinceps Carrillo, who came in batting just .204, no home runs and 2 RBIs. First pitch here by Felipe Paulino. Fastball for a strike. No balls and 1 strike to count. Anyway, a rare closer with 5 pitches, a fastball, a slider, a curve, a sinker, and a cutter. They set up outside again here in the 0-1. This one is a strike, catches the outside corner 0-2. So yeah, stay right there, maybe go a few inches further outside. Skeeters leading 7-5. Here in the top half of the ninth, trying to take game 1 of this 6-game series. Swung and fouled straight back. Healthy cut. I think Paulino may have gotten too much of the plate there on 0-2. Carrillo last year with New Britain, 246, 3 home runs, 25 ribbies. They set up outside, the 0-2. Swung on and missed. He checked his swing, but he went go. And the first base umpire, Mike Durantis, agrees as they go with the appeal, and the Skeeters are 1 out away. That was the 3rd strikeout for Paulino. He has struck out 3 of the 6 batters he has faced. Michael Krause will step in here. Krause has struck out twice, hit into a fielder's choice, and singled last time up. Righty-righty matchup. First pitch is off the mid of Cordero. 1 ball and no strikes, but only 5 feet to his left. No advance by the runner at first. And Cronfin.
Looks like it's been a while since Cordero's caught live pitching. A little rusty.
The 1-2 here by Paulino. The Skeeters 1 strike away. This one is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to count. Scoreboard operator has 1 out there, but trust me, it is 2. Now the home plate umpire, Joe Harris, has to change the scoreboard to 2-0. They set up outside, the 2-0. This one low and away, 3-0.
During that sequence where he walked the pinch hitter, he really had 4 or 5 pitches that he wasn't hitting his target, and he's kind of gone through that same fit here to Krause, and you don't want to bring up Rosa as the go-ahead run.
And after the comeback in the 4-run 8th, action begins in the Skeeters bullpen. The 3-0. There's a strike on the outside corner, 3-1. Looks like Sugarland's own Mark Haynes warming up in the pen. The 3-1 here from Paulino. Swung on and missed 3-2, and the Skeeters 1 strike away.
That felt like the cleanest, easiest delivery that he's had tonight, and probably the hardest velo.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 1 on. Nelson at first going to be playing behind the run of Cronfeld. Skeeters are leading 7-5. They're 1 strike away. Paulino from the stretch. They set up away. The payoff pitch here to Krause, swung on and hit into center field. This should do it. Miller on his horse will track it down in right center field, and that's the game. As the Skeeters, with a comeback win here, win 7-5. 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors for Sugarland. 5 runs, 8 hits, and 2 miscues for the Bees. I guess you can't spell bees without 2 E's. Gonna take a break. We will come back here. We'll have our player of the game. We'll give you the final numbers and preview tomorrow's Game 2 matchup. All that more. We'll return on the Skeeters post-game show in a moment.
Mics are off.
2:45.
Hey, Skeeters fans, if you're a senior, 55 or over, we have a great deal for you. Join our Silver Skeeters Club presented by Advanced Hearing Center. For just $25, Silver Skeeters Club members receive admissions to 9 Skeeters home games, free drink coupons on game days.
I do, but I can't get that last out. Okay, but yeah, I got the go-ahead runs. So are we going to go into the highlights first, or are we going to do the interview first? Okay, sounds good. Is there going to be a break between it? Okay. Back in 30.
Pitcher Robbie Weinhardt. If you're a young ball player looking to improve your ball, sign up for the Skeeters baseball team.
Oh, Ira, real quick. For the second highlight, the one that's like second in the order, there's like a 3-second pause, so it's still going on. Just, yeah. Okay, we're back in 10.
Baseball camp at Constellation Field.
Mics are hot in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Skeeters post-game show, and excited Ira Liebman as the Skeeters come back after a long day of travel. They trail 5-3 in the 8th. They win this one 7-5. 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors for the Skeeters. 5-8-2 for the Bees. The winning pitcher is Felipe Paulino. Came in the 8th and pitched the final 2 innings, and it is Nate Rowe who takes the loss. He is 0-1. Time of the game, 2 hours and 45 minutes in front of 5,106 fans here on a Friday night fireworks. Well, let's tell you how this one happened. It was the Skeeters who got on the board first. In the bottom of the first inning, Josh Prince, who had a huge night, get to him in a little bit. Prince led off with a double, and up came Lance Sawatsky. The Skeeters were up 1-0 until the third when the Bees would get even. It was in the third when Jake McGuigan came up to lead off the third, one of 2 big hits he would have on the night. But it was the top of the 4th inning when the Bees would strike big. Javon Rosa led up for the walk. It was Greg Maddox with a single. Up came John Griffin.
There's a soft little flare headed to right center field. That's a base hit. So Griffin has the single. Rosa around third. Here's Barfield's throw. It's in the air, but it's a little bit late as Rosa scores standing.
So it was 2-1, and then it was the Bees who would add another one as the left fielder Connor Bierfeld would come up.
Although it's carrying out there to right center field, we'll see if it's deep enough to score Maddox. It may be because Miller underneath will make the catch. He's going to throw to third, and the throw bounces a little bit late to get Griffin. So a sac fly, putting Maddox puts the Bees up 3-1.
Oh, it was 3-1. The Bees were up. I had the call of Jake McGuigan's first home run, but it was Brett Dolan back behind the mic for the second one of the night for McGuigan.
Next pitch, hit well to left center field. McGuigan homered earlier in the game, and he is just homered here to the plate land in left center. He won the lengthy battle. It's a 2-run bomb, and he makes it 5-1 Bees.
Oh, 5-1, but that's when the Skeeters began their comeback after Jose Ortiz led off the 5th by grounding out. Up came Josh Prince. Brett Dolan had the call once again.
Wilkins swings at the first Nice house, and that one's gone. Few players homer to that area of the ballpark, but a light breeze blowing out tonight. Wilkins spanked one, hit it well, and sent one near the splash pad for a home run. His first of the season.
Well, I've gotten a little ahead of myself. Wilkins with the home run there. Another home run was coming. We're going to hear from this guy more. It was in the 5th inning. And the Skeeters, after a ground out, Josh Prince would come up this time and do something a little bit different.
That ball's lifted to left center. Hit well. Back there near the playground area, and it's going to be caught. Are you kidding me? Base umpire Brad Parker says home run. Krause from center said he caught the deflection. Krause went over the fence. He got a glove on him. He played the arrow to catch the base and hit the fence.
Well, it did not. It was ruled a home run. Skeeters were back in this one 5-3. Neither team scored in the 6th or the 7th, but much like the Bees, who had a 4-run inning in the 4th, it was the Skeeters' turn with a 4-run inning in the 8th, trailing 5-3 with 2 outs. When the rally began, Anthony Jansanti doubled. Derek Miller walked to keep it going. Travis Scott with a pinch hit for Jose Ortiz. Well, not only was it tied 5, the very next batter would give the Skeeters the lead as they went back to the top of the order, and Josh Prince, he was at it again. Oh, Prince really breaking out of his slide. A 3-for-5 performance, 2 home runs, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored, and he is our player of the game, and he is standing by with our own Andy Humphrey. Gentlemen. We apologize for some technical difficulty there. But Josh Prince with the big day, 3-for-5, the 3 runs scored, the 3 RBIs as the Skeeters go on to win 7-5. Felipe Paulino, the final 2 innings for the victory. Well, with the win, the Skeeters now 8-7. They will at least remain tied in first, depending on what the Barnstormers did. The Bees dropped to 4-10. Final thoughts on this one, B-Dole?
Well, those 4 runs came in a hurry in the 8th inning. Bases empty, 2 outs. Skeeters got a couple of runs on, a pitching change, a chopper up the middle, an E8, and then the 2-run bomb from Prince. And before you know it, the Skeeters went from a 2-run deficit to a 2-run lead, and that's the way it would finish.
Well, that's going to do it for us here tomorrow. A little bit earlier start, 6:05 first pitch. The pregame show starts at 6. It'll be Skeeters right-hander Jake Hale, 2-0. with a 2.11 ERA against right-hander Eric Fortuno, who's 0-1 with an even 9 ERA. Special thanks to Nathan Werner back in the studio. Great job on the production and the highlights as always. Nate, take a bow. For my broadcast partners, Andy Humphrey and Brett Dolan, this is Ira Liebman saying so long from Sugarland, with the Skeeters with a comeback win this one 7-5 in Game 1 of this 6-game series and Game 1 of a 10-game homestand. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will see you tomorrow night.
Mics are off. Thanks, Ira. Yep. Take it easy.
course, I'm cheering for Canelo. It's our guy.
Yeah.
We are having this great partnership with him. We know that he represents the brand so well. We share a lot of values in terms of our brand and him. But not only for that, as a fan, I truly believe that Canelo is prepared. He's well equipped for this fight. He's better trained, and he will do a better job, I think.
Destiny, do you have a prediction? Can you make one? Are you allowed to? I guess you can't pick against Canelo, right?
I mean, obviously, I'm for Canelo, too. We've been working a lot together, too. He's a very nice guy, very professional, so I'm wishing him the best.
Yeah, what's that like for you guys? Because you do, I think I saw either an HBO something where you guys were with Canelo in Los Angeles doing a media event. It may have been a press conference. So you guys do more than just fight weekend, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We did his media day, his workout day. We were there the day that he was filming with Sylvester Stallone in L.A.
Wow.
So, yeah, we do a bunch of stuff.
You were in Mexico, too, weren't you?
No, we weren't in Mexico City.
So
No.
I think that was...
So the press tour started in Mexico, but they were